hell. It's BaseTradeTV.
Hey guys, hopefully I didn't screw anything up. So far, so good, but we'll put an asterisk on that for now. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Ting Open, and I've got probably the best guest caster I could hope for. I had a lot of fun in our brief moment together at Home Story Cup. I was very happy when people heavily requested to see some more of you, so welcome Snoot. Good morning or afternoon,
Thank
I
you.
guess, for
Morning.
you.
Absolutely. I know how early it is for you over there.
Yeah, it's a yikes o'clock right
I didn't get too
now.
much sleep tonight either, so you know, I didn't get too much sleep, so we're probably a little bit in the same boat, maybe.
Oh, you got something in common with YouThermal for today, then. Poor YouThermal's telling me he hasn't slept in quite some time. I'm like, you've probably got an hour before you play, honestly. Just go nap. He's like...
It's gotta be a StarCraft thing, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I didn't get a lot of sleep, but I'm kind of used to it at this point, so I can't really deep dive in for this. But guys, it's going to be a Korean group, all best of threes. Snoot's volume's a little low. I can fix that. Also, if you see any feedback like that in the chat, Snoot, don't touch your mic unless I tell you to, okay?
Okay. I'll be perfectly still, but it's gonna be okay.
I just want to make sure that, like, you know, I'm not turning you up while you're turning yourself up, so we end up making you super loud or something like that.
No, I'm not touching a single thing. I'm done with pressing buttons.
Sounds great then. All right, so Snoot's doing vetoes with the players, or he will be here in a moment. But before we jump into any of that, here's a quick look at the brackets for today, guys. As again, we've got a lot of really good players, a lot of good matches. Bunny versus True is up first. YouThermal versus Zest is up second. And I guess, are you doing vetoes or?
I need the coin flip thingy. Should I just take care of that too, I guess?
Oh yeah, I just usually use Google. You can just Google like coin flip or whatever.
So who begins this evening, or this morning, I should say?
Bunny versus True.
Bunny versus True. All right. Then.
Yep. So, well, Snoot gets the veto started with them. I will note that YouThermal and Zest are both online, but they are the second best of three playing today. And unlike the other regions, and unlike North America and Europe, guys, this is going to be a full group day all played out. So by the end of this broadcast, we're going to know who's been eliminated, who's moving on to the round of 16, and who finishes the group in first place. So 5 best of threes for today. But I don't know, you got any you brave enough to take a wager on who wins this first best of 3?
Oof. Bunny versus True. I actually I think True might be able to pull something crazy off, but I think if everything goes the way it should be, especially with what I'm hearing from the turns lately, I think it might go to Bunny. Like I'm cheering for Bunny, kind of. Well, cheering against Cirque, right? OP turns and everything.
Well, you can do that now that you're not playing full time, right? You don't have to have that same bias, I suppose. But do you want me to just flip the coin for this first one so we can get it going, or?
Yeah, sorry. I'll get to it. Let's see. Bunny, I flipped the coin, so Bunny is gonna be. Does he get to choose, or?
Well, so what I just assign a player, like Bunny's heads, True's tail.
That's what I did. So.
I guess if you guys are unfamiliar with your veto format too, it's real basic.
Okay.
We flip a coin. The winner gets to. There you go. It's done here in the chat for us. Be A or B, and then it's A B veto. Remove 4 maps. A pick. And what's interesting is in our first Korean group we cast, it was almost the exact same maps for every single best of 3. It was Cerulean Fall, Blue Shift, and Kairos Junction. And the only thing that varied was the map order. But even then, it was like Cerulean Fall or Blue Shift first. Like, we saw very little of the new maps in Korea, which I thought was really interesting. Because in Europe, we saw so much of the new maps.
Really?
Yeah.
Even Stasis or Stasis?
Actually, funny enough, I don't think we've seen Stasis at all between these two. But then we saw Stasis like 5 times with North America. So, I don't know, dude. I
already see it being vetoed. I'm just saying, like, it's gone.
Yeah, for me, I think it's a terrible map. I assumed it would be vetoed most of the time. That's why I made a super memey intro. I don't know if you've seen it or not, by the way, but
I haven't seen this one. Or maybe I have actually.
It's not a for serial map intro like some of the other ones I really put a lot of effort into. But people seem to love it, so hey, low effort works. Hey.
Yeah, I guess.
But guys, I guess while we have a moment here as they are wrapping up Vito's, Snoot, of course, got to see at Home Story Cup, good times, and as many people might not know, but hopefully know, you've kind of stepped back from StarCraft a little bit, not playing.
A little bit, yeah. Taking a break for the time being, at least.
Well, it's been a while now, and of course, we touched base on this a little bit at Home Story Cup. How's the old man life going?
Very, very slowly. Like, it's just taking things one day at a time, kind of. So I've been not really feeling like practicing StarCraft too much or anything like that. So it's a little bit of a new experience. Like, you have so much free time all of a sudden, so you kind of need to start doing other things and thinking about what you want to do next, you know, that type of thing. So it can be a little tricky. It can be a little nice sometimes, not having to practice so much, basically. It's very different. But I think, you know, at some point, every pro is going to have to go through a process like that, unless they want to keep playing forever, of course. But yeah, it's strange.
Never say die. Oh,
Never say die.
I'm glad, of course, that you're willing to come cast, though, even all that in consideration. Maybe it just changes up the monotony for you. I don't know, but I just had a lot of fun at Home Story Cup. So again,
no. Yeah, like being at Home Story Cup was super chill. And well, when I was asked to be on the show today, I was just like, yeah, you know, that sounds really chill. Like, I'm up for it.
Also, same with Wardy. I gave Snoot like an approximate time how long these broadcasts will take, guys. But yesterday, for example, which should have taken 3.5 hours, took 6. I'll say for Snoot, if you have plans for today, man, and this goes on super long, don't feel guilty about bailing at all. But
no, it's okay. I'm very flexible. Like, is there a lot of mech play going on, or what's happening here? Why are the games so long all of a sudden?
I don't know. That's just Europe, man, was awesome. We had really great games. It was PVZ that was dragging it out too, not TVZ. But anyways, hopefully we get some great games. The past career group was really fast. I had Roddy on and we cast for 2 hours, 5 best of 3s. It was over before it began. But we're getting players hosted up now. First map is Cerulean Fall. And where is Bunny? Bunny is in Bronze League on his account? That is amazing.
Yeah. How do you even end up in Bronze League?
Right. Like, here's the thing, guys. I want to really stress this. I've tried. Oh, sorry, give it a second to load. It's the first load of the day. I've tried to get in a Bronze League for memes, and it's difficult. I've left over 100 games trying to, like, D-rank past silver, and I just couldn't do it. Somehow Bunny, who has, like, his history is Grandmaster on his account, I'm in his profile right now, has managed to get rank 1 bronze. This is so freaking impressive. I can't even begin to tell you how frustrating this is to pull off.
Yeah, I'm like checking his 1 versus 1 and it's just empty. So he just ended up in bronze for no good reason. Like, he did his placement matches and it's like bronze.
I love it. But okay, players are ready. Let's hop into it, guys. We got our first game coming up on Cerulean Fall. We'll see you in game. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ting Open round of 32. You're in store for some great StarCraft this morning. Kicking things off in the top right, representing Psystorm Gaming, we got that red Zerg player, It's True. And then
here, in the bottom left, we have the blue Terran player, Buddy.
I was actually hoping for more of that ASMR Snoot intro we got with Cyril and Tasia. Dude, I don't know if you've seen that video on our YouTube. Is blown the fuck up. It is almost our #1 most viewed video in like 5 days of posting. People loved that series.
Oh yeah. The series was excellent. I don't know about the whole ASMR thing though. Like that doesn't sound like something I would do, right?
No, but I just love that first intro was so good. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you should check out the video. But yeah, Ting Open is a great tournament. $4,000 minimum in funding for this. If you guys are curious about learning more, you can of course check out the match Reno at some point. We don't have a lot of cool rewards to offer just yet, but there are coupon codes and other things. Sorry guys, I'm just fixing the health bars. And a lot of good stuff to get into, but we got a couple of subs before we get too far into today, so big thank yous to Sturdy Blair for the 38 months. Ace Jesus, take the wheel! And Postman Bat was a brand new Prime sub. Thank you guys for lighting up our morning with some good music and some sick action. But yeah, this is gonna be an interesting one. Bunny was looking really good at Home Story Cup. I haven't seen much of True though.
super good. Yeah, we haven't. I haven't really seen True play in a long time. Like he was not at Tom Story Cup, so we didn't get to see him there. So this is gonna be super cool to see if he's changed something or if he's the good old True that we know. The True that pulls off crazy stuff with speed links, maybe even some. I don't know.
Well-
Like we've seen Queen drops, all kinds of crazy stuff from True in the past.
True didn't do too poorly in an Elima League. I want to see 3, maybe 4 weeks ago, because that's when I invited him to come play in the Ting Open. He was looking pretty good. So hopefully his shape is going to be fine up against Bunny. But I was going to quickly note, too, guys, Bunny was another player who we had such complications with Korea. The qualifiers fell through. None of these players actually qualified in. This was pretty much an exclusively invite group, which isn't a good or a bad thing, but it's like the first time in 4 seasons we've done something like this. So it's going to be really interesting to see how these Korean players ended up working out after the, I guess, invite fiasco. Reaper almost gets picked off. Whoa. A little too close for comfort.
Yeah. So when you were watching True playing those games like a couple of weeks back, did he do something different? Like, do you remember anything from the games, or was it just like the typical True we usually play?
If I recall, I think he lost in the round of 8. But the reason I was inviting him because like his micro was just like looking really good despite the losses. So I'm like, all right, he's looking like he's got control of things. He's looking like he knows what he's doing. Let's get him in. Funny enough, I didn't even consider this till just this moment. We had a lot of questions about why is YouThermal in this group, right? We got the European in Korea. Funny enough, True spent like the last year in North America, so the fact that True is in the Korean group as well, I think is equally strange. So this is a bit of an oddball group where you've got Bunny and Zest representing Korea and True kind of North America, YouThermal kind of Europe.
Yeah, I know, right? But it's because YouThermal and so many of the other players are staying in the team house in Korea right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm actually really glad too because we've got Zanster in another one of these Korean groups, and I think Zanster's a guy who can maybe surprise, to be honest.
We always had that situation where Showtime just plays in these Korean groups and just owns everyone, right? Just comes over and absolutely destroys the group.
Yo, I hosted like 3 open cups, $200 in prizing right after Homestory Cup. Showtime was like bim, bam, boom, knock him up, knock him down. Didn't lose a single game through any of those finals.
I'm not surprised. Like Showtime's always been so solid.
Stu, we had Marine Lord in the Twitch chat a little bit ago, and Bunny's opening battlecruisers. Coincidence?
I've been hearing so many things about battlecruisers. I've been trying to stay a little bit away from certain parts of the internet, but every time I go on Twitter, I kid you not, I see something about battlecruisers, and it's just all this wine from Zerg and all the Terrans being like memeing about how they finally have a viable late game and stuff.
Well, what's interesting is like the battlecruiser isn't being used for its late game right now, right? It's being used as an opener. It's being used as like the harass, and that's what we're gonna see here out of Bunny. We'll highlight this more in a moment because the question is really how much does he dedicate to it? I've seen Special and a couple other players seem to think 2 is the perfect number. A lot of people will instead just go for the 1, use it to really lay on that heavy harass, but so much is dependent on how he controls this battlecruiser because he's going to teleport it across the map immediately, so it's going to have no free escape method, and if he's not careful with it, you can lose it, and that's 400 minerals, 300 gas to lose this early in the game. He's got to be so careful.
I still remember hearing Cyril talk about this build at Home Story Cup, and he was kind of like, nah, I don't think it's that good, but apparently it's something a lot of Terrans have been doing lately, so there's probably something to it. And yeah, as far as I know, I don't think True was able to get the scout off. Like, he was poking in with the Overlord a little bit earlier. But as far as I can see, like, the only thing he's seen is that there is a third command center. And that's
Here we go. BC in the main. Move and shoot. Rudy Tutti Fruity. There's only a queen here for the defense.
I mean, it sounds so fragile, right? It's a battlecruiser with triple command. It's like, it's so susceptible to attacks, but then again, you have all these Hellions in addition.
Oh
like,
no!
Wow.
Oh no! Oh my god! The battlecruiser's done work. It distracted True as much as it needed to because he wasn't paying attention to the Hellion run by, which was, he stacks up again! What are you doing?
Is he gonna go
chaos. The battlecruiser's still killing the main. He's got Yamato research. He actually has Yamato the queen if you wanted to. Yeah, he's gonna. Fuck you, queen! Good night!
This is so painful. As a Zerg player to watch this, I'm just like, oh no, this is so sad.
Well, this is so
serious. This is like, this is the type of game you have. Like, you're the first game of the day. You wake up in the morning, you're maybe done eating breakfast, maybe you feel a little bit sluggish, and then you have a game.
Oh, here's the second one.
The second battlecruiser shows up.
Well, I'll talk a little bit about this more because I think we're about to see the game come to an end. But TLDR, like you can hold this with enough queens. You can hold this with a couple of spore crawlers, but none of that matters because this game didn't end because of the battle cruiser and its damage. This game ended because of the Hellions. Bunny runs away with map 1, just sprinting, man. He was in full Usain Bolt mode, killing it in that game.
Yeah, True was going for the quick roach warren, but that's a very tricky way to defend against something like this because, like you said, you know, you don't have that many queens, and when you make those roaches, they're kind of immobile. So if they're not positioned perfectly, then the Hellions can just sneak by, and that's exactly what happened.
I like this comment in chat, by the way, from Sharkbait. 400 minerals, 300 gas, 0 problems. So here's the thing, though. I look at that game, and anyone who's not been watching StarCraft for a while, you haven't seen a battlecruiser build, you look at that, you're like, wow, battlecruisers look broken as hell. Like, how's anyone supposed to deal with that? And as I go into a little bit more before we get into the next game, guys. Like, we've seen this come out so commonly that Soon kind of highlighted there wasn't a lot of scouting right before the attack, which was important because
it tried, but yeah.
But then the other part of it too is like, even if you don't scout it, we're seeing a lot of people do like blind spore crawlers, like having the extra 3 down is a big deal. The queens too, en masse. Like there's just other ways to deal with that unfortunately did not happen that game. But I'm seeing a couple of different remarks now saying Snoot's a little low, so I'm going to turn them up on my side, guys. If it is still too low after we're in game, please let me know. We can continue to adjust this. We'll make sure you give you guys the best show that we can. We didn't get to do
crank it up all the way.
Well, we didn't get to do super sick audio checks because there's some couldn't hear you fiasco going on before the stream went live. But
I'm sorry.
It's all good, dude. Because whatever we figure out today will be good for tomorrow. Because if you guys don't know, we have another Korean group tomorrow, same time, and Snoot will be back for that one too. But players are saying they're ready. I see you in the lobby, so let's hop into Port Alexander. Enjoy the intro, guys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very quick game 2 spawn here at the top left side of the map. He is going to be the blue Terran player once more. It's Bunny, but this time he's got 1 point on the board. And
here in the bottom right, caught a little bit off guard by that strange battlecruiser Hellion rush, it is Sidestorm True.
You know, Special did this thing I thought was just phenomenal. Oh, Jesus, that's a tier 3 sub. Finalius, thank you for the 53 months and good morning. Battlecruisers are popularized, obviously, but Special was playing in North America, and he did this, like, Marauder Hellbat combination of, like, battlecruisers and things. Terran's all over. Terran is all over the place right now with how they're opening, and I'm loving it because, frankly, if you've watched Terran over the last, like, year even, it's been pretty monotonous. Oh, look, it's a proxy. What a surprise. Oh, look, it's just, like, Hellions into a Banshee. Like, it's just, there's not a lot of variety. So even if none of this sticks or the meta gets figured out or there's a nerf later, like, I'm just enjoying right now seeing the variety because I feel like Terran's been very stale to watch for their openings for so long. Yeah,
now we see all kinds of different things. So the question is if Zerg is going to go back to like the typical Overlord scouting. You know, you had the Liberator range builds on certain maps, right?
Oh gosh, yeah.
But at that point, the Zerg players started playing a bit smarter, and at some point they even started playing Overlord speed on pretty much every single map because they started feeling like they could afford it and they'd still be able to defend anything. But in the previous game, for example, we didn't see Overlord speed, but we saw some Roach type of defense.
Yeah,
and, I don't know, like, we don't really see the Roach, at least a couple of months back. I didn't really see the Roach defense being used that much. I don't know if that's more of a recent thing or... Yeah.
Roaches are definitely, to me at least, they feel very reactionary to said scouting. But actually, it's funny you bring that up. I kind of forgot because it was really you and Stefano, I think I would cast the most and see consistently faster Overlord speed.
Not me. No. I was spamming mass queens all the time. Just tons and tons of queens. I think Serral, Laser, a couple of others really started using Overlord speed very diligently because you could still squeeze out a decent amount of queens, like enough to defend.
Oh,
And then
actually,
get
yeah,
it-
I remember Laser had like a very specific way to scout with his first and only Overlord too. He wouldn't even send out like a second one in some of those games, just like Gumio and others.
And then players like Raynor, for example, also love to make tons of queens. Like maybe he still does, but I would often see like 10 queens from Raynor, for example. Like Raynor and myself, we had this mass queen thing going for quite some time. But yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like in the previous game, I sound like a broken record here, but I think mass queen would have been a wonderful response.
No, it absolutely is, because the biggest problem is that battlecruiser can't really outrange them when it comes to the creep, and of course they can run fast enough to chase it off of it. And even just yesterday in the European groups, I got to cast the first battlecruiser dying because it couldn't get out in time. And when you teleport in, you don't have that freebie escape. So, I mean, for Bunny, I kind of hope he does it again, right? If it's not broken, don't fix it. That got him a very quick win. Maybe we can get 2 out of it. But at the same time, I'm also looking at True like, are you going to let that happen again? Because this Overlord's not scouting. He's got no clue what's going on. He's rallying in now. But a Fusion Core begins, Snoot, and
my goodness.
if True doesn't just keep pumping queens, he's going to be in some trouble.
Yeah, so far we see him going up to 4. You know, that's a good sign. He also is banking a lot of gas though, so we have to see what he's going to spend it on. But for now, he hasn't built a Roach Warren, so that's kind of a promising sign already that he's more willing to make more queens, and he is. So you know, that's great. Seeing a bit more of the old school, probably 2-chamber mass queen type of defense, and this
Also-
Overlord here, yeah, it's gonna get a nice scout off maybe.
Hopefully. I mean, it doesn't actually need to see the starport, it just needs to see the Fusion Core behind the mineral lines. But again, 2 things. First off, guys, actually, I'm just double checking. Hopefully Snoot's audio is good now. If it, let me know your thoughts in the chat. Higher, lower, keep the same. But also, the emphasis is, while the battlecruiser was a nice meme, this game still was really all about the Hellions, right? The Hellions getting him caught off guard. He was so paying attention to one battlecruiser in the main. All of his attention was in the wrong spot, so they got in and roasted drones. As long as that doesn't happen again, he can spend all day dancing with that battlecruiser and eventually push it off, lose a couple queens, but the game won't end the way it did. That game was over because 40-something drones died in the matter of like 30 seconds.
Yeah, and right now True is starting up the upgrades, and he's sending the Overlord in. So he sees the starport with the tech lab. That's a little bit of a tell right there. He has yet to see the Fusion Core yet. He knows it's a triple command build.
Oh, he's not going to get to see it either. But, I mean,
He's not gonna see it.
educated guess. He's not making
Exactly,
queens.
right.
This concerns me. No additional spores.
Yeah, he also only has 1 Overlord out on the front, so that's a little bit tricky for him. He doesn't necessarily get the perfect heads up on the location of the Hellions, but he can know, you know, with a certain amount of, yeah, he should know where they're coming from basically. But he doesn't know if it's Hellbats or something else. Like it could be anything. So we'll see if he has enough Zerglings for this.
I think if he had handled that a
Yeah.
little quicker, he could have got that surround, but he's relying on the queens more.
Yeah,
And I
this
don't,
is
I don't
very
like
nice,
this. Less about the queens here, because he needs to have the queens here. Battlecruiser teleports to the mineral, and here we go.
Yeah.
Yamato cannon done. He can actually nuke down one of these queens easy.
And the Hellions are pressing the top also. This is the moment when True needs to multitask and split his army perfectly. And Bunny is playing it kind of safe though, or is he? Dancing a little bit with the Hellions, but he seems to be backing off. So a little bit more conservative here from Bunny. And True is actually getting a catch here.
Yeah, this is a lot better. 6 drones dead so far is acceptable.
I was
Battle-
about to say, like, maybe Bunny was going to YOLO with the Hellions at different stages. Like, I felt like there was this time where he could have been very aggressive into the natural,
True. Oh,
but he's
that-
respecting the amount of links. That's a lot of Hellions, though.
oh, we might lose the battlecruiser too. It's getting low. These are ground tempest, man. 9 range shooting that battlecruiser
Huge
from
fight up
far,
here
far
also.
away.
Oh my goodness, look at the surround. Graham, what is happening?
True's defending, and he's not losing twice to the same thing is what's happening. That's the most important detail. But that battlecruiser is gonna get out of there with 34 health, barely standing. But the thing is, it gets out of there, and there's one more I think he just built at home. Yeah, so this counterattack won't be that scary. It might force a liftoff, but I mean, this won't be anything 2-game ending.
Only 2 Hellions. That's a decent amount of pressure. That's a lot of Zerglings
Wow.
also. That's a massive East here and there.
It's only a couple Hellions, but then a battlecruiser too.
Yeah, additional Hellions coming to save the day, and well, the BC is going to take down these few links, so supply-wise, it's looking very stable for Bunny in comparison to True. Like, True was focusing so much on the unit control that his macro has been slipping a lot. Like, he hasn't gone anywhere with the lair tech, he hasn't started the upgrades, and you could argue, you know, it's not the biggest of deals right now, but True needs to catch up somehow and develop his game in tech, and worker-wise, Bunny is actually ahead. So this was very, very good for Bunny.
Buddy's ahead and going for a third battlecruiser combined with mech, by the way. I really want to highlight that because
Yeah.
it's not bio, it's mech. So
Like
True's
his setup is just beautiful.
well, this kind of I love it because it kind of negates the ability for True to use his Ling upgrades that he got right off the bat, right? Because you're not going to be building Lings into this.
Yeah, it's a very unlucky draw for him, you know. If he started the
Whoa! Hello, goodbye. Yikes!
There's 3 of them.
If
This
he
is so
was,
cool.
I don't think he's got enough queens. 9 queens might not cut it. 8 queens, excuse me. That one just got blown off the face of the earth. He's just gonna take some heavy
Obviously-
losses. He needs spores reposition. He's not doing that either. Meanwhile, the Hellions head northwards, and oh my god, so it's
Yeah,
just
this
step
is just
2
a
of the
numbers
same
game at this
thing.
point, right? The opening was just so rough for True. Even if it looked like he was defending quite well, it's still like the macro just wasn't there. I think.
Oh,
The,
it's
the
Hellbats, not
circle-
Hellions this time.
Yeah, the
Ooh.
circling opening just didn't play out the way True was hoping for. The upgrades kind of useless in that regard.
He's not transfusing. He's missing a lot of transfuses, if any.
Yeah, he's hitting a few, but against the raw power of these battle cruisers, it's just not enough at this point.
Yeah, but
It's just
I
a
just want
numbers
to
game.
throw out, there's
Yeah.
like 3 queens with over 100 energy that died without casting. And I mean, when you consider how low these battlecruisers are, that could have been the difference of like him actually pushing it off or not. I think this is a done deal, guys. The Hellbats have not been dealt with. They are not being dealt with. He's not building anything else. He's just got Lings because, of course, the Roach Warden's picked off. So that's kind of we're in all she wrote territory.
Yep. True, of course. He's a little bit like Blind in that regard, always a fighter, always stays in the game trying to come back through any means necessary. But I think this is a done deal. 140 supply against 50 BCs,
It's-
just
Yeah,
destroying
this re-
everything.
This really reminds me of the mech dynamic that is Zerg versus Terran. GG's Buddy with a very clean 2-0 to start the day. But there's some Zerg players out there who would play phenomenally against like the top tier, the Koreans who played their bio, but then like you throw one North American who plays mech at them and suddenly they don't know how to play the game anymore. And I feel like battle cruisers are giving me those same vibes where like once you figure it out, it's not a problem. But very clearly, True did not have that figured out, and it was a problem.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of a shame too, because I feel like he was really trying to adapt in that second game. He was going for he had a very nice Overlord Scout, I think. It got a very good read on the starport. And after seeing what happened in the first game, I felt like he was making a lot of good adjustments. But yeah, you know, it's just a very strong build, and if you, like you said, if you don't adapt to it properly, then it's just kind of just going to look like this, I guess.
Well,
So
True
players might need a bit more time to figure it out.
maybe. I've got my own thoughts on that, but I'll hold them for now. I was gonna say though, True fans, don't worry. He's not out of the tournament yet. He does have a losers match he'll fall to. And for those who are unfamiliar with BaseTradeTV, we do the losers bracket first. So next up is gonna be YouThermal versus Zest. After that, True versus whoever loses that series. Then the winners and the group finals. So we got some good StarCraft 2 ahead of us. YouThermal's here. Zest is here. So I'll leave you to do the vetoes. And before we dip off to our first commercial break of the day, hello and good morning, everybody. Let me get this page up here. By the way, you good for the coin flip, or do you need me to do that?
I just did it.
Perfect. Love
I'm
it,
a little
Snoot.
bit more experienced now, so this time was good.
Awesome. All right, well, while Snoot does that, I'm just trying to get a display capture up, but it appears to not be working. So I'm going to break the overlay for 1 second, guys. I don't know why this fixes it, but it does. Okay, there we go. I'm trying to show you our Twitch stream, because one thing I really want you to do is go up here. Well, we got a lot of viewers tuning in. Good fucking morning, everybody. Go up here to the events tab. And in this tab, we're going to be keeping things up to date. Now, there's only a couple of events up until the 15th. Once these groups resolve and we know who's moving forward, I'll be able to start assigning people and dates to the round of 16, and you'll see this updated in the near future. But this thing's great because it lets you know when we're casting, what we're casting, and of course, if you want to make sure you don't forget, you can always hit remind me, and Twitch will send you a very helpful reminder about the event that's coming up. So I would really implore you guys, if you're not using Discord and you're not following Twitter, check the events tab on Twitch, because that one's going to usually tell you when we're live and what we're casting. But we are going to go to our first commercial break of the day. Snoot, have you seen our current break screen, by the way?
Maybe. I can check it out now.
You should definitely pull up the stream. We'll see you guys in a few minutes. Thanks for watching.
Look at the sky, the sun won't ask for one if it can rise. Look at your mind. and ask yourself what keeps you trapped inside. Look at the lies that follow you when you run and hide. Look at the sky, the sun won't ask, the sun won't ask the world if it can rise. Look at the sky, the sun won't ask the world if it can rise. Look at your mind and ask yourself what keeps you trapped inside. Look at the lies that follow you when you run and hide. Look at the sky, the sun won't ask, 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 the sun won't ask the world if it can rise.
No hurry. I can always
All
just look it up as well.
Well, Suit's gonna quickly learn that when I say we're coming back, that's when I'm unmuting. But as you, hey guys, welcome back. Thank you for watching that first break for us. So the next series coming up is gonna be Zest versus YouThermal. We're on the map. God damn it, Timon, thank you for bringing Zombie Grub into the cast. It's Automaton for the first map. This is going to be a very interesting matchup. We'll talk more about it once we're in game, but they're ready to go, so let's not dilly-dally. Let's hop into Automaton. Again, big thank you to Timon50 for those 300 biddies, but we are getting into game one. This is another fresh best of three. It's the preliminary match of the group, and in the upper right side, we have none other than the blue Protoss, Zest.
And here in the bottom left, the red Terran playing for Team Liquid. It is Mark Schloppy, YouThermal.
Yeah, YouThermal and Mana, Tasia on that note too. Team Liquid boys represented pretty well at Home Story Cup, I gotta say. That was kind of nice to see.
Yeah, and I think some of the matches were very, very close also. Like Mana was so close to advancing with such a close map score. Like every map counts with that format, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think everyone had a very strong run there.
Well, something really interesting out of YouThermal is like it's a proxy, but it's not. And this is hinging on Zest scouting him so he can mind game him. But that's not what's happening. Zest has chosen not to scout, which is not a bad thing, but this means YouThermal doesn't get to mess with him the way he wants to.
Yeah. It would be fun if we saw something similar from Zest, like a fake proxy Stargate, you know?
Also, because I'm seeing a little bit of it already, guys, just that forewarning that if you see some stutters in the game, it's not because the stream's lagging, it's not because my computer can't handle it. This is unfortunately just a connecting to Korea problem that inconsistently happens and we have no control over. So, yay! Hopefully it won't be too bad for this game, though. TVP, though, weird place. You know, unfortunately, we're not seeing battlecruisers here nearly as much as we were seeing, like, that single Cyclone opening. But ultimately, I still like the late game. We're seeing a lot more Widowmine usage. Obviously, Ghosts get tied in later for EMPs. Colossus have made their way back to the matchup. Disruptors are better than ever. Like, TVP got really changed up with this patch, both in terms of cheese and the not cheesy builds.
Yeah, speaking of cheese, I was watching the tournament, you know, Cheeseadelphia.
Oh,
I was
my
actually
goodness.
following the finals a little bit.
What were those results of everything?
I know, right? First of all, I think it's really cool that we saw so many top tier players.
Hold. Guys, we're about to do some spoilers for Cheeseadelphia 8. So if you've not watched this yet, plug your ears for like 30 seconds, okay? Sorry, go on.
The fact that Neeb was able to take 2 maps off of M Canning is absolutely ridiculous.
I knew that's what you were going to talk about.
I don't know how this is even possible in this timeline, but
Dude,
it happened.
I know a lot of people were talking about Future versus Special, which I think is a pretty big deal. I'm not taking anything away from that. But Future versus Masa, too. Like, that really blew me away. Because for whatever reason, Masa seems to be like the North American kryptonite. He beats people he shouldn't beat. And Future beating Masa with some weird poetic justice, I suppose, but also just kind of cool to see. So, yeah, the results in that tournament were astonishing.
And Future also beat Special, right? So it wasn't just some one-off TVT result. Like, he backed it up. Like, I don't know if that was after or before he played Masa, you know? But either way, like, so good.
I believe Masa was the round of 8, and Special was after that, so...
Right, yeah, of course. Special made it to the semifinals.
As cool as that is for Future, everyone was, I think, definitely obsessed with M Canning, dude. That was awesome.
I heard there were a lot of Phoenixes involved.
I don't know. I didn't get to see the games, but yesterday we had kind of similar upset. We had Rail versus DNS, and DNS was the Ting Open Season 4 champion. 2-0. DNS dies. I was like really surprised, to be honest. Rail's not a bad player, don't get me wrong, but I didn't think that would happen.
Yeah. Rail is a very hard-working Protoss. Like, when we were at Home Circuit Cup, he would just practice from his hotel. If he wasn't at the venue, like, he would just be there practicing. And when he was at the venue, he would practice even more there. Like, it was just crazy. Like, I've seen him basically do the same at DreamHacks and such. Like, he would show up first thing in the morning and just practice there. So, yeah.
Most of my experience with Rail at Home Start Cup was him getting mad at me for the way I played poker. So, I'll take your word for it. I would believe it, though. With results like that over DNS yesterday, can't help but believe it. But Banshee comes out of YouThermal. Now, Banshees have actually made their way back into the matchup. I want to say about 4 or 5 months ago. So this isn't new, but it's still like not exactly a standard opener. So Zest might not be expecting this at all. There's no shield battery, so I don't think he is expecting it. Because the key thing is, a Banshee can 2-shot a probe. If there's a shield battery, it takes 5 shots. 2 and then some. It's so ridiculous times the amount of time it takes to actually kill a probe. But because he's not prepared for it, there's no ample detection. The Oracle's on the wrong side of the map. This Banshee's going to get a lot of kills, or should get a lot of kills.
On the other side, the Cyclone was a little bit off position as well, so they're going to trade a few workers here.
If you could get that vision, you could have killed that.
The Protoss players are so diligent about it in PvP, right?
Oh,
they
he
always drop that
recalls.
shield.
So important that he recalled for that revelation. Oh my god.
That's a good move by Zest.
Oh, and he's gonna. Oh, get out! No way. The Banshee's gonna grab another kill on the way out.
Yeah. I mean, not all 6 Stalkers had to go into the main, right? But he might even still be able to get it. Let's see.
Ooh.
Yep. I mean, that's great, but there's also a huge attack coming out from YouThermal in the middle of the map.
Right, and on top of this, another Banshee heads in. He doesn't actually have another reliable form of detection. So that's another like 5 or 10 probes.
Like, this is just YouThermal being YouThermal. So aggressive, hitting multiple places at once, always having some sort of attack going on.
Old
Like,
man
there's-
complains that he's tired. He can't play his games today. Comes in, kicks ass in the first game of the day against Zest, one of the best pro casts in Korea.
YouThermal is always like that. He always downplays himself, like, and then he just destroys everyone. Look at this Terran army. If this isn't scary, I don't know what is. Even two
Bonkers to go with it.
Jeez, man.
I mean, the Phoenix against a smaller attack would be great. You just lift up one of the tanks, but there's a Banshee to worry about too. There's actually like a wall being built of bunkers straight up, and he's just going to be able to pressure the third base.
Yeah, who
Mostly
needs a third
uncontested.
Who needs a third CC when you can have 3 bunkers, right? And the missile turret.
YouThermal's
You
thinking
have
a little
space
bit deeper.
remaining, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
the Zealots are
but
going
the
to get choked out. He can't actually get in
Yeah.
here. The Stalkers blink. The mules
is
come
the
down. Oh, shit.
Oh, GG. The madman. The mad mark.
The
He's done
Mad
it.
Mark. Holy crap. I mean, not only does he beat Zest pretty decisively, he throws down the
Oh.
mules. Somewhere out there, Artosis is really upset and he doesn't understand why. Like, just
Oh. What am I watching?
you watching
guess
YouThermal be a
like-
god in Korea, dude.
Like a 1-2 KO punch into like this super gigantic sledgehammer at the front. Like he just brought everything. Like who needs a third CC? He sees
Well-
the third Nexus and he's like, hey, rubbing his hands, and then he just destroys us. Like I don't know what to say, man. This is
Well,
YouThermal.
What I
TVP
really
and
liked about that too was his mind game at the start didn't even work, right? Like he tried to do like the barracks thing and Zest just didn't scout. So like right off the get-go, I didn't know how well that game was gonna go for him, but pretty well, evidently.
Yeah. I don't know, like I feel like the early game trading wasn't necessarily that great for YouThermal either, but he just was one step ahead all the time, right?
Well, guys,
Yeah, impressive.
we're gonna be hopping into game number 2 on Kairos Junction here in just a second, but to address something said in chat, happy to hear Snoot. Would love to hear more commentary from him in the future. Obviously, I'm not going to be speaking for Snoot in his own career here, but anytime I can afford or Snoot's available to come on, I'm always happy to make this stuff happen, guys. So this is a bit of a shill moment to say, like, it's because of you guys who donate and sub and cheer bits and all that shit that I can afford to invite people like Snoot and say, hey, dude, this isn't just a passion moment. You want to come earn some cash, have some good times, and cast some StarCraft? As long as we keep getting stuff like that, guys, we can keep bringing back people like Roddy, Snoot, Zombie Grub, Wardy, whoever. It's always great having another person on the stream because I've been solo casting for the last 2 months. I'm so sick of it. So
Yeah.
thank you for saving me today, Snoot. But guys,
I'm just happy to be here. It's great.
by the way, you gotta watch this intro on stream because I'm really proud of this one. I made it yesterday right before the stream went live. So guys, Kairos Junction's coming up. We'll see you in game for map 2. All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. We've got a weird group already going down. Fast games, and we'll see if this one continues that trend. To the lower right, we have the blue Protoss player, Zest.
And in the top left, bringing a very deadly build in game number 1, it is Team Liquid's YouThermal.
Now, whether it's a quick group or not, we've already got some pretty astounding games. Fun moments obviously make great for StarCraft, like towards the end of that game, for example. But I don't know. I don't want a group of all 2-0s. We've had that happen too much in Korea already. And this is our second out of 3 groups. It would be very sad if all 3 groups end up being quick. However, for the fans out there who do fret about these things, the round of 32 are best of 3s. The round of 16 and onwards will be best of 5s. So even if this group ends up being quick, when it comes to the round of 16, we'll see some much, I don't want to say better, but that's not the right word, but longer games, likely.
Mm-hmm. And there's always the opportunity to watch the VODs from earlier, I believe. So if you're hungry for more StarCraft, there's always other matches in this very tournament that you could go back to watch also.
Yeah, of
And
course,
more
if you guys are watching on Twitch, our VODs are not subscriber gated. They are not paywalled. You can watch for free at any time you'd like. They do, of course, eventually go up on YouTube. So if you guys want to check out youtube.com/BaseTradeTV. That'd be great.
Oh yeah.
I like the CC on the high ground, not to mess around with this probe that's kind of lurking about outside.
Yeah, walling it off very early also, kind of keeping the probe in the dark. No, I did see it actually, my bad. Yeah, the probe can see the CC from the ramp there, so it wasn't like YouThermal was trying to hide it that much. Well, you gotta expect it to go down anyway, right? But yeah.
There is a highlight to be made though of the fact that Zest did end up probe scouting, right? Like maybe he felt really cocky in game 1. Like, oh, this is some foreigner coming to Korea, whatever. Don't need to scout him. He learned his lesson. Goes for a scout in game 2.
And he's gonna lose the probe for it also. I think I saw this in Cheese. I saw Puck recalling a probe or something to save it from the Reaper.
Actually, that became popular a while ago. And there was a big argument spurred off of this on Reddit too, where it's like, is it more cost effective to use a chrono boost and make more probes, or to save the one? And apparently, according to the maths, if that probe was going to die or not make it home, it's better to recall. But if you could have walked it home and you just like recalled it to be lazy, then it would have been better to chrono. Which is an interesting dynamic, because it feels not important because of the small scaleness of it, but early on, small moves like this really ripple effect down the line later.
Yeah. The Reaper was taken out this time, but he was able to see that there was an Adept and a Stalker. Nothing too crazy, but...
He saw the Robo too, so full scout.
Yep. Pretty good.
Widow Mine's coming out too. I guess kind of highlighting the changes again, since we're on the front page and we know there's some more casual people watching. A big overhaul on the patch that we may or may not get to see this game. I'm hoping this is Drilling Claws. No, it's not. The Widow Mines can now, with their upgrade, remain cloaked after firing their payload, but more importantly than that even, they built, I think, it was it 20% faster? They built faster than they did before is the point. So in a lot of situations, you can get more Widow Mines out in these sort of clutch game moments.
And Zest moving out on the map a little bit here, bringing the War Prism and even a probe to go with it. Observer coming in as well, so a little bit of stalker pressure here. Going to probably try to bait the mine shot with this probe. There he goes.
Oh, that's clever. I like that a lot.
Yep. He wants to bring an observer for later, but for now the probe had to be sacrificed, and this is a lot of stalkers coming in here.
Yeah, this is terrifying. The tank's on the way, so he's trying to play it calm. He's trying to play it cool.
Even more warpins.
He's gonna break that and walk in, and that tank can't siege up anywhere safe.
Yeah, this is looking scary. Zest trying to turn the tables here on YouThermal, bringing some aggression of his own. And so far, well, there's one tank. Let's see what happens.
Did he save the reactor? This is a really, not even minerals gas. This is a time-expensive building to lose.
A couple of depots might fall as well, but if Zest stays for too long, he might have to burn a recall. His stalkers might be kind of trapped at this point.
Yeah,
taking a little bit of damage here. One stalker goes down.
Yeah, he dived in so deep. I think he was hoping his Warp Prism would carry him through this a little better than it did. Ultimately, better defense here out of YouThermal, but still lost so much mining and down like almost 10 SCVs right now. Not great.
He lost that depot too, so he had to drop a cooldown supply in the back of his mineral line. So this hurt him quite a bit infrastructure-wise, and you know, Zest is going to keep up the pressure here very smart. Bringing the stalkers up to the high ground, only 4 of them.
Tank's in a good spot though.
Trouble, maybe. Nope. Very nice tank positioning still by YouThermal.
Yeah, barely covers the top side.
Yeah, this is not everything from Zest though. Like, he's getting the Twilight and the Forge in the background. He has the Robo already. He has the Observer already. So, you know, this is looking very good for Zest here.
Also, big thank you to Jibby coming in for that 26 months. Just, whew, didn't lose my streak. Wow, Snoot, take a screenshot. One of our mods is actually here for once. This is amazing.
We should be thankful.
Mark it down, guys. 4:47 a.m. on the West Coast on December 11th, 2018. A BaseTradeTV mod showed up. Wow.
A little bit of a strange moment here as the YouThermal train is departing with a bunch of SCVs. But on the other side, there is a Warp Prism counterattack. Straight into the natural, and it sees that there is absolutely nothing here. Hello.
That's what's so funny about it, right? Like, because he pulled the SCVs, he doesn't lose them. At least not at home, but no.
This is with Stim.
the tanks are in the medevac. He's got to get these unloaded somewhere he can actually use them. Get that siege going. There's the force fields. SCVs can throw down a bunker or two, to say the least.
Zest is going to have the resonating
He's
blades.
gonna kill the shield batteries before they're done.
Yeah, this is rough. Like, Zest needs to hold on just a tiny bit longer. And he needs to get the big army up and going.
Oh, with no... I don't think he's got any immortals yet, right? This is gonna be hard to break. The Adepts come in. Stim is done, though. Marines can fight this. He splits, though. He knows friendly fire is going to be a problem. I love that.
Oh, he's just going to go for it. I think this is a tiny bit too soon.
No, I think YouThermal's got this, man. Oh, shit. Zest, he's got +1 weapons, but nothing to fight with.
Yeah, I think he needs to wait a little bit longer, amass an even bigger army before attempting something like this. And now the bunkers are done, so I feel like there is no way back here.
Oh, God. Yeah. I love that third tank. The way he sieged that up, by the way, was so critical to those Adepts dying. GG. Wow, another 2-0, but this was an unexpected one for me. YouThermal knocks down Zest to the loser's bracket.
Impressive.
I'm a little speechless, dude. I usually have something to say, but...
And this was in a position where I thought YouThermal was in a lot of trouble. And then I suppose you could say that Zest perhaps overextended a little bit with his army. Like, the Stalkers maybe didn't have to stay that long in the natural. But for YouThermal, just to bring this type of killer instinct and just go for it with an SCV pull, like, it's so aggressive to do something like that. But in both of these games, like, that call just worked out perfectly, right?
And I wonder too, like, was that the plan all along, or was that what he was forced into after that attack? Either way, like, he made the best of it, and I loved it.
Yep. So let's see here. Which match are we going to do next?
We got the losers matchup first, aka the Elimination series. So that's gonna be True versus Zest coming up next. After that, we'll have a TVT with Bunny versus YouThermal. And man, this just quick first 2 series, I gotta say, but not at all regrettable. Very fun, very great. But like I said, True versus, let me title the stream too. True versus Zest. There we go. All right, guys, we got a couple of things we're going to do here for the break. Number one is we're going to run a Ting sponsored ad video. This is, of course, because Ting's the main sponsor of the tournament. I haven't given them any proper shoutouts yet, so we got some people tuned in. Real quick, what is Ting and why are they sponsoring the Ting Open? Ting is a U.S. mobile phone service. So unfortunately, if you're not in the United States, you can't use Ting. Also, hey, what's up? Jeff woke up bright and early. I think I'm enjoying this. We got Ting Jeff in the chat, guys. I say this because as I'm about to talk about Ting, if you have any questions about Ting, or if you want, just you're curious to say, how are you doing? Jeff is one of the people in the chat who's a representative for Ting. We might have Jesse pop by later if we're lucky, but if you got questions, Jeff's your man. But anyways, they're a U.S. mobile phone service. The greatest thing about them that I could tell you is that they don't put you on a contract. It's pay for what you use, month to month type thing. So maybe you're between phone services. You know, you haven't quite picked a new plan. Use Ting for the intermediary. Maybe you're just paying too much for your phone bill anyways. If you're like me and you never leave the house and you're always around your router, what are you paying those big fees for data for? You can pay up to, like, a lot of bills on Ting. The average is like $25 or less. They got a savings calculator. They'll walk you through how to best use their services. And best of all, if you go to BTTV, that's BaseTradeTV, bttv.ting.com, you'll get $25 in credit, and you can apply this retroactively too. So if you do this, check it out and forget, damn, I forgot to use the code. You can use it retroactively by talking to Jeff or Jesse. They're really awesome. They're really cool about that stuff. This is season 5. They've been putting in thousands, like literally thousands of dollars each season to make these awesome tournaments happen. So this season's also co-sponsored by Hover. We'll talk about them more later, but there's the big talk about Ting. Anyways, a small commercial break, a small video from Ting, and we'll be back with some more StarCraft 2 with Zest versus True when we get back.
TwitchCon is a 3-day event to celebrate everything Twitch TV, which is a website where you can watch pro gaming tournaments, entertaining streamers, real-life streams, artistic streams, pretty much everything to do with live streaming.
So esports is the competitive side of video games. It's where Twitch mostly got started through StarCraft esports. People compete from all over the world in tournaments. They're brought out to play on the big stages. It's a crazy industry.
I got into streaming when I got StarCraft 2 shortly after or I had friends that would stream, so I figured that I'd give it a go. And it's, I don't know, it's kind of a miracle.
I would spend most of my shifts watching people play games on YouTube, and I thought, I could do that. So I did that.
It's completely changed the way that I live. I work full time. It's my 100% job. It's just a magical thing that we have now in the modern day.
I really like the fact that I get to have a fan base and interact with them on the regular. It's cool being able to share content to thousands of people.
So we brought BaseTradeTV here because they've been running Ting-sponsored StarCraft 2 tournaments alongside us for the past 2 years.
Well, like, we've never really heard of Ting, but we wanted to hear them out. So we got taken to their offices and basically planned out a tournament. It went really well, so we had another one, and now currently at the time of this interview, we're in Ting Season 4.
Last season, Season 3, we actually had a live finals in California. It was at Corsairs headquarters. It was a blast.
Honestly, it's not too crazy. They don't have a lot of requirements. They just want us to hang out with the fans, tell them our genuine opinions about working with Ting. And it's easy to do because we really like working with Ting.
Ting's an awesome company. I'm really glad they're here working with Twitch and working with esports, and I hope they continue to do so.
They both use Ting. They both know a lot about Ting, and they've done a great job of representing Ting on Twitch TV, and they're one of our most valued partners, I would say.
All right, folks. Hello, we're back. Hopefully I'm not muted. Okay, good. We are in the lobby with True versus Zest, locked and loaded. It's blue shift. The players are ready. Let's just hop into it. We'll see you guys in game. Okay, here we go. Another fresh series for y'all, but this one's an important one. This is the elimination match. I'm Rifkin, casting this morning with my good friend Snoot. And as we hop in a game, we get some sub action from Prognosticator. Thank you for the 2 years. This nice role-playing, caster boy. Not sure what that means, but thank you for the sub, Prog. I hope you're doing well, and a happy holiday season to you, friend. But kicking things off here in the top right of this fresh series, we have the Blue Zerg book. Nope, let's rewind that. We have the Blue Protoss player. It's Zest.
And here, the Red Zerg. It is True.
Sidestorm Gaming's blown up a little bit this year. A lot of good players on the team, obviously, but then they recently acquired Sloth, so the roster's a bit bigger than before.
Oh, okay.
But the one thing I kind of missed out on the announcement that I only got caught up with yesterday night, Suppy transferred through too. So True and Suppy on the same team right now makes me a very happy Zerg boy.
Yeah. Yeah, has Sophie been playing a bit lately, or
You know,
This
it's
is
weird.
still kinda quiet.
Suppy seems to just like, I don't know if he secretly plays and practices or what,
Mm.
but like you hear nothing about Suppy for 8 months, and he shows up to a LAN and plays not too badly.
Yeah,
This
he's
happened
so
like
good.
Atlanta last year too. Like he came to our DreamHack Atlanta tournament, and we're like, oh, I didn't even know you're still playing StarCraft. Ends up in like the finals.
I think he has very good mechanics, and he's one of the players that's also very quick at adapting to whatever the current state of the game is, like the current meta game. And I think just every time I watch him play, I feel like his mechanics, they don't really deteriorate a whole lot. Like he's always very quick to just kind of practice a little bit, and then he's kind of back into the good flow. And as long as there's not too much to learn in terms of strategies, if the game isn't like crazy, super complex, and you need to know like 25 different builds and scenarios to be able to, reach a high level, I think just Sup is one of those who's remarkably consistent when it comes to just coming back from being away for some time. Like he's just got really solid mechanics. If you watch
Yeah.
his streams, like, you can tell real quick.
I just have
Here we go.
dreams of
Stargate.
I just have
Goodness.
dreams of Suppy and True hopefully practicing together one day. The highlight of the Stargate's a good one because it is, of course, not being built at home. It's on the other side of the map.
Yep. And True has been doing quite a 4 circlings going into one direction, and it just so happens to be the correct one.
Oh, that'll work out nicely for
I
him.
don't know
I
if
think. Well, I think he obviously when you go this way, you're aiming for the watchtower, right? But he's actually gonna walk past it and not see it at all. Get out! Oh my God! Snoot,
He saw it, right? Surely
No, he
must have seen
didn't.
it.
No, he didn't. Look at the vision. He didn't see it at all.
Wow. Oh, I cannot believe.
Well, that sucks. That's
feels
all I
like
got
he
for
got
that
a
one. That
sneaky
sucks.
I'm gonna sneak these circlings past this wall and see what's hiding in the main. And then he just passes by that watchtower. Oh, that's so unfortunate.
Well, so what's doubly bad about this, right? Right now in Europe, I don't know about what it's looking like in Korea. Every PvZ I'm seeing, like it's strong Stargate openers, not really proxies. I would say this is really unorthodox even. And Zest comes in quick with this Oracle. There's no Spore Crawler down yet. He's gonna get some drone kills out of this. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I remember back in the days of Proxima Station, quite a long while ago. People used to proxy way more often, but eventually Zerg players got very good at figuring it out, scouting very diligently with Zerglings. But yeah, I guess you just don't expect it as often anymore. Like it's been kind of falling off, and then sometimes it comes back. Nice, saves that overload. That's kind of important too.
I think he can finish it off later pretty easily. Just bring the Oracles in for that high ground.
Exactly. Like this is a very rough start for True potentially. If he keeps taking damage from these 2 Oracles, if he doesn't get to shut down the Stargate and then loses his overload at the front, it's going to be a very complicated game for him from here. Zap.
Ooh, that's some nice run by action. I mean, the key thing here is like you don't have to
no.
get 40 kills.
no.
with-
Oh no! Graham! My
Oh.
Zerg heart is bleeding.
Yeah, so is True's economy, Snoot. I was gonna say you don't need like 40 kills with these oracles, right? I know that this is a name that's gonna be a blast from the past. I always liked what Hasuabs would do back before you stopped playing. And like the idea is that you do a little bit of harass, but you do it consistently over the next 20 minutes. So 5 drones here, 3 drones there, 5 drones there, and it adds up so much better than flying in, bursting down 10 workers and losing an oracle for it. Like the control for Zest was great because I mean he's only taken barely any damage on one of these oracles.
Yeah, and he's not wasting the energy anytime soon, so he's going to have a little bit of potential with that later on, bringing them to maybe shoot down some queens.
Snoot, we just had the best goddamn warrior in all of European World of Warcraft host us. Oh, he's also pretty good at Terran too. Shout out to Muslim. Big host commented 406 viewers. Thank you very much for that, dude. Hello to all the Muslim fans. Real quick to catch you guys
everyone
up.
from the Muslim stream. Good to have
Yeah.
you guys with us.
Well, you guys just missed YouThermal beating Zest. We're in the elimination match now of Zest versus True. So the loser of this is going to be out of this tournament. But, of course, on the other side of it, for those who don't know Muslim, what are you doing? It's not that many good Terran streamers out there, guys, and he's one who speaks English, so goddamn, you better be checking out twitch.tv/DeMuslim.
Oh yes. Lots of links coming in here, but they're going to be warded off by these oracles. They've been saving up energy for a long time, so, very clean defense here by Zest, and it does have a little bit of a counter of its own going on. Something happening in the main. Here we go, double Archon drop coming in. True has been making the Roach run on time, so he's able to fend off these Archons somewhat, but he did lose the Queen for it.
Back against the wall, but his back should be against the shield battery.
A little bit later,
unfortunate
those
positioning.
lasers actually loses a stalker. Bit of a nice snipe from True there, but yeah. I still feel like Zest's the start that he had in this game is still a very good one. True is floating a lot of minerals though, so let's see if he can convert that advantage into something useful.
Oh god, this could be the worst meme decision I've ever made. Ting, if this mutes the VODs, I'm so sorry, dear sponsors. Try to crowd panda right now, Snoot. Don't worry about it. I know you can't hear it. Okay, I think that's about the most we can play before we get in trouble. All right, guys, we are watching this still play out. There's Archon still dropping on the left side. But with roaches out and queens aplenty, this isn't that bad. Yesterday, through some of the European groups, even though we had really long games, we also had some pretty bad Archon openers in terms of them just destroying the Zerg. So I like seeing True hold this off and not get murdered by it right off the bat.
Yeah, and so far today, like the games have been cool, but they've been very, very short with not really too many back and forth moves. But now we actually see a game that's kind of stabilizing a little bit more. So it's cool to see something that's not wrapping up around the 7-minute mark. Like we're at least making it a tiny bit beyond this.
I mean, you know,
for how long though?
I think TVZ will always be the #1 matchup in my heart. I love watching TVZ, but the thing is, ZVP is giving longer games nowadays on average, and I think I'm finding that a lot more enjoyable with how fast-paced Legacy of the Void is. So I'll take these longer games where I can get them, no matter what the matchup is. Oh, this Warp is a micro.
Ravager. This is a lot of Ravagers from True and Swarm Host. Ooh la la.
Ooh, this is where I'm going to start getting a little bit judgmental. I have cast so many Koreans, from Sue to Dark, you name it, and like, I really don't like Korean Swarm Host usage. I don't think it's very good, to be honest. Especially if you measure it up against a lot of the Europeans. So I see Swarm Hosts, and objectively, I think they're great. We'll see how True uses them, though.
I was watching a True play against Puck in some WCS and I believe it was WCS. Well, it's not too important, right? But it was the finals of some sort of WCS qualifier towards the end of this year, and True was actually able to take down Puck in a very convincing fashion using these Roach and Swarmhouse comps.
Ooh.
So I think this is something that he's practiced a lot, and map-wise, I think this is one of the best maps to do it on.
Alright.
So Fracture earlier on in this pool, but this is probably the second best map for it after Fracture. But they needed a little bit of backup, of course. Oh no, this is such a waste.
Rest in peace, Fracture.
Nothing happened. All of these locusts got baited out, and oh my goodness.
But the thing was, like, this is really great. You said a Zest.
Oh, absolutely. For Zest, this is fantastic. But I just, it's very strange to see Zerg sending the Swarm Hosts forward in like this sneaky fashion like this with absolutely no backup. And it's so risky because if the Prism is there to catch it, it doesn't even have to be Archons. Like, it can be Immortals, and then you can kill even more Swarm Hosts. So that was very reckless by True. But now he brings his whole army, so this time it's going to be different.
Do we have someone in chat hyping us up for being on the front page right now? Golly, are we on the front page of Twitch? I don't believe you. Type 1 if you're watching from the front page of Twitch. That's
I gotta say, everyone's
there.
getting in from the front page.
Yeah.
Right now
Hello.
we have
Good morning.
Zapping the large Zerg army with just using 2 oracles. A little bit of a strange sight, but basically the Zerg is having a little bit of trouble advancing forward because he doesn't have any units that shoot up currently. It's that simple.
Yeah.
So Zest, the Protoss player, is doing a very good job just buying time here against a composition that is very much so about pressing the issue quickly.
Well,
but now the Queens are coming though, and they can shoot up for sure.
But Stu, I want you to look at that production tab, man. This is about to get wild. We have Blink Bay research, but not regular Blink. This is for Dark Templar, and for the maybe casual StarCraft fans tuning in from the front page, you know DTs from Brood War, you know DTs from StarCraft 2. Guess what? They thought it'd be a great idea to give them a Blink ability. And we don't see it that often, but Zest is not only researching it, he is chrono boosting it out to get it out as fast as possible.
Yeah, I think I've seen this upgrade maybe 4 times max in professional play, so this is kind of funny.
But I love it for getting on top of the Swarmhouse. This actually reminds me a lot of, do you remember there's that one period of the game, oh, it's Archons for now, where they were blinking DTs on top of Terran tanks, and it was disgusting to watch? That's kind of what I see this similar to. Like, just blink on top of the Swarm Host, because there's likely not going to be overseers with this. And with how hard a DT hits, you could take those out very quickly.
This game is going to get very strange, though, because True is going into some sort of Muta switch with a very... Yeah, this is awkward. A lot of things about this game is awkward right now. Because True is switching into Mutas, but Zest is going out. Like, all of these Immortals are getting caught. And Zest is attacking at the same time, but there's also a Zerg counterattack. And then Zest sees these Mutas. Like, this is going to get very, very strange all of a sudden.
This is more awkward than a middle school dance, I'll tell you what. Oh, the Mutas are not paying attention either! They get drawn into the Archon, splash him down! He loses half of his Mutas in a couple of seconds.
He does react, though. He could have lost all of them, but he did pay attention. So now we're going to see how well can True defend. And if he does defend, will Zest do enough damage to still win the game? Or is True actually going to claw this one out? Like, this scenario is going to get very strange real fast.
There's going to be a lot of Locusts coming in. That's a lot of damage, but the Archons are stacked up, so they get the splash damage in there. Locust taken out immediately. Now, most of True's army supply is on cooldown and unable to fight.
Yeah.
I think that's
very
it,
nice
Snoot.
splash
I think this is too much.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, absolutely, 100% agree. The splash damage from the Archons, the Guardian Shield, like, that was just way too convincing of a push.
Your triggers the hell out of me, dude. No DT Blink. We have DT Blink finished. No DT Blink that game.
Yeah.
So
they're going to look at the statistics and be like, yeah, well, DT Blink was researched in that game, and this was a victory for the Protoss, so I think we need to nerf DT Blink, guys. Like, it's performing too well in tournament matches.
Yeah, they researched it. They don't even need it. It's that good.
No, but I think just from a Zerg perspective, I think the Muta switch was a bit too early. It's something that you can save up for, but True was kind of adding like 10 Mutas when he was at 180 supply, and then he was going for like a gradual trade-off. But it just it didn't really work out the way that he maybe had in mind. It's kind of like a bit of an all or nothing type of thing to do with Mutas. You kind of need to go for like this huge base race or like surprise them, but against an attack like this, Mutas on the defensive, they just don't really do a whole lot.
Well, we got map 2 coming up with Kairos Junction, guys, and quick little celebration. I know it's not worth celebrating the small things, but with how slow we get followers on Twitch, we just pushed past 118,000 followers. So, hey, thank you guys. Of course, if you're StarCraft fans, right? It's crazy to think about that. At least that many people have watched the stream.
Just imagine standing someplace and looking out over 100,000 people plus. That's a lot of people, right?
Can't even visualize it, man. But yeah, if you guys are watching from front page, maybe you used to watch StarCraft, or you're just seeing it for the first time, whatever the case may be. Well, first off, hello. Secondly, hopefully you'll consider hitting that follow button, because this is a channel where we make a lot of StarCraft 2 tournament content. We do a lot of cool stuff here. Sometimes it's fun and silly, sometimes it's serious and sponsored, like today is. So yeah, hopefully you guys will come back for more. But we're nowhere close to the end of the day. We are getting into game number 2 of the Elimination series. Players are ready. Kairos Junction. See you guys on the map. All right, guys, we're back, and it's map 2. This is still a really important series, though. It is an elimination match, so one of these two players will be gone from the tournament. And I guess for those who are unfamiliar with the Ting Open, there's a $4,000 prize pool, although that can grow to be even larger. However, top 16 get paid. So here in the round of 32, if you die, you earn no prize money for this tournament. And spawning here in the top left with 1 point on the board, looking fantastic. We got the blue Protoss, Zest.
Here in the bottom right, representing the Zerg race, it is True. Needs to win this match to stay in the tournament.
I know
It's
you
not looking
kind of
too bright
reference.
right now.
Well, I know you referenced his match versus Puck, and Puck is a good player. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to disparage anybody here, but Zest is the next echelon above, and I think there's some small things there where we could call True out, like, nice catch. He was complacent with the Swarm Host, right? So the first wave did nothing. After that, Zest was constantly harassing with the War Prism, and it took True so long to get like units out to shoot up, to be able to push, to be able to do any sort of pressure. I think he could do what he just did so much better, and if he chooses to go down that route again for game 2, I could even see him beating Zest. He just has to clean up those small things.
Yeah, I felt like it was maybe True trying to bring back a strat that he used to do a while back, and then maybe not having it as refined as he did back then. Because when he was playing against Puck in that series, he did it way more decisively. I think he brought a lot more, like it was just way more about the ground pressure. But I think the Oracles, like he didn't really seem to have a plan to deal with the delay from the Oracles. Like theoretically, you could just send everything forward and have the Oracles run out of energy, right? Just have them deplete their laser beams. But he chose not to do that. And instead he backed off, and the game got really awkward from there. But I think if True somehow could find it in him to be a little bit more decisive with the composition that he makes, then it should be a little bit better for him.
Well, of course, I'm rooting for True to not die 0-2, because I just don't want another group of 2-0 Snoot. But that being said, it's a lot of work, man. It's a Stargate opener from Zest, and while we saw a lot of cool stuff last game out of Zest, this is what he really got known for me. I know Home Story Cup last year, there's a lot of bullshit about stalkers. That's what caught everyone's eye. But Zest through his observer placement and Zest through his like Stargate play is what has solidified him as a great player in my mind. Not because he was able to patch toss a Home Story Cup, but because he continued to show like really great tactics even after that patch was fixed for the stalkers. So, I mean, the Stargate opener for me being one of his strengths, I'm already worried for True.
Yeah. I mean, Zest is he's sometimes a bit easy to underestimate or like
Underestimate.
Yeah, I'm kind of stumbling in my words here, but it's easy to underestimate him because his macro isn't necessarily the crispest out of all the Protoss players, but he just has some sort of something about him that just helps him win games. And I know I sound very silly when I say this, but it's just very tough to explain.
Do you believe in magic?
He wins a lot. A lot of matches where you wouldn't expect him to win, he just takes it in sometimes a bit of strange fashion, but I don't know, like he's a little bit of a machine, and I sometimes struggle to understand what exactly makes him so powerful.
Yeah, some contrast to that too. You could probably use those exact same describing words, for me at least, to describe players like Bly too, where it's like, how does he pull off some of these wins that he pulls off?
It's a little bit easier with Bly, I feel like, because we know that he's a little bit crazy, right? But with Zest, it's a little bit more
mechanical.
gradient. Yeah, it's a little bit tougher to kind of pinpoint, I think.
That's how I feel about Stats, actually. Like, because Stats is a great player. Why? And I'm like, you know what? There's just like literally everything is why. You can't really like nail it down to one thing.
Yeah, but some Protoss players have very distinct styles also, right? You could say that Showtime is a fantastic defense. He's just really good at defense and macro and most things in general. But Zest is one of those players that's just kind of scary. You don't know exactly why he's that great, but he just seems to win a lot. But that's just my impression, though.
I know that you can't really do a direct versus to say who's the best Protoss, right?
Oh no. That's so complicated.
It's beyond complicated. I'm not even going to try and name it. But what would be kind of cool, I would love to do for a tournament idea, right, is have a series where Zest plays 5 best of 5s against 5 other great players, and then Showtime plays 5 best of 5s against those same 5 players, and just like compare the results after. It wouldn't be a definitive fact of like, okay, so this guy's better, but it would be cool to see how they measure up. You know what I mean? Because they're both so good.
It's a funny concept to kind of have that type of war, that you have like 2 challengers or something going up against like this wide range of players, like a 2x5 type of thing.
Yeah, like, I'm so much more interested in that than something like Serral versus Maru that everyone wants to make happen.
Yeah, there's so many requests for that match.
Dude, it's actually so heartbreaking. Showtime has been absolutely killing it since the patch, and I feel like he had this hype from this year too, but he gets so overshadowed by Serral's success.
Yeah, it's rough, right? Serral just has been so dominant, so it's very tricky not to talk about him, to put it like that.
I'm really sad too. Showtime got in contact with me really late about being in Ting, so he's first string replacement if anybody falls out of the tournament or can't like make it or forfeits or whatever. But yeah, I would have loved to have seen like a finals come down. get these scenarios rocking and rolling. But the Archons from Zest start up. We kind of finish our rambling here. We got 2 Oracles ready to go back in the main as well, but there's 3 Queens for the defense.
Yeah, because not really too much has been happening in this game in that sense. Like, there was no proxy Stargate, there was no circling squad missing the Stargate, etc. Just a very traditional opening here. 2 Oracles trying to do damage, but, you know, just very good defense by True. And yeah, the game is just going to develop from here. It's not the best creep spread by True, and it's going to get shut down even further because Zest already has an observer out, so he's going to do a good job clearing up that creep.
Yeah, I like this.
But yeah, but this means we're going to see a bit of a longer game. And once again, Infestation Pit going down, so we might see some more Roach Swarm Host action.
Yeah, I know I was shaming the Swarm Host when he went for them, but I really don't think Swarm Hosts are the problem of the unit, it's the player using them. So again, if True, if he cleans it up, man, I think he can make the Swarm Host work.
It's also very map dependent, and this stings for True. Like, one thing about True is that he doesn't really seem to like to build Spore Crawlers against Oracles, but rather rely on the Queen positioning. But sometimes if the Queens are a bit distracted, then he can lose a bit more than he originally anticipates. So losing 6 drones there, not the best, but I have to say, like, the macro is probably looking better than it ever has for True in any of the series, but going up against the double Oracle with Swarmhost on a map that's even larger than the previous one, like, he's going to need some sort of plan to stop these Oracles or just ignore them completely and just shove, you know, with all the Roaches, all the Ravagers, and the huge Swarmhosts. I'm very curious to see where True is going to take the army movement from here, basically, because he needs to be aggressive. Like, Swarmhost is a very aggressive unit these days. Like, he completely reversed from before. Before it was the #1 defensive and passive unit, but now it's different. So True has to make something happen here.
Well, good defense, keeping the Archons back. I mean, this is something where Zest can run away with so much more than he is. So
Yeah,
True's not doing a
bit inflated,
wow.
but yeah, but True is doing better in this map than he has done in all of the other maps we've seen so far today. So this is good for True.
One of the key things about this, though, is like with these Swarm Hosts, they should play cost efficiently. So what we should see over time is True gets to grow his bank real big. Max is out quick with this inflated army, sure, but that should grow into a really big bank that he can use on a whim later on.
And he's actually moving out now. Zest is expanding vertically, and the Oracle starts sapping. And once again, this is such a huge deterrent for True. Like, he's so scared of this Oracle, and sends all of his units back home. And I'm still not sure if this is the right call. Like, yes, you're gonna lose his Foremost, but they're so cheap, right? You can just remake them.
Well, there's that, and I kind of wish you just make Burrow. You just like force a revelation, and it's got no energy to shoot you.
Yeah, he did kill the Observer, so that would have been a cute move for sure.
That's a lot of Swarm Hosts, Snoot.
Yeah, but you need to use them, right? That's the scary part.
Use them before you lose them. Age-old saying, yep.
Yep. I'm happy to see that I chose to ignore the Oracle, but I kind of feel like the damage has been done already. The Oracle bought Zest so much time in combination with this map being so large. I mean, these Swarmos, the trades are free, right? But this was such an easy hold for Zest, and he's getting a bigger and bigger army, and the larger the Protoss army is, the worse the Swarmos are going to be against that army, so...
I really like the way he uses DTs there too, by the way. There's no detection for the Swarm Host, so didn't turn him into Archons, used the DTs to deal with the Locusts much faster. That was cool.
And look at the way that Zest is kind of pushing the Swarm Hosts back as well. Just always making sure to control the position of the Swarm Hosts or scaring them. Okay, that's a fungal.
Yeah, actually, that's the first time in all casting we've seen the new fungal. The change to it be an important deal. If you guys don't know, here's the highlight. Fungal growth that makes it so you know you're not rooted in place, but you can't be picked up, you can't be teleported, you can't blink while fungal's on you. That's why the Archon didn't hop in the Warp Prism. That wasn't lazy control for Zest, he literally couldn't pick it up. And that's seriously the first time, even with all Homestrike Cup considered, I've seen fungal growth actually matter.
Yep. Unfortunately, there weren't any queens there to help pick off the Warp Prism, so this Infestor, I'm afraid, is not really going to do too much. And a little bit of a counter as well at the fourth base of True.
Fungal, if he fungals and holds them in place for the Locusts.
Oh, nice
fungal.
fungal. But the Archon's dealing tremendous damage together with the Immortals. But
That's
this is a
a
good
lot of
defense.
spines.
Yeah, very nice call to just build so many spines there. Like,
Oh
True's economy has
no!
been very good.
That's a lot of overseers that are gonna die. Run, boys! Nope, AFK, that works too.
I kind of want to say it's no big deal, but it's still kind of... It feels a little bit bad having to remake them.
But not only that, like, it's that point where how close are you to getting supply blocked by those going down too?
Yeah.
Do DTs have Blink this game? Is being asked. No, it's not been researched, so we're not seeing any DT hype. But man, these swarm hosts are still a big threat. He just can't get to use them is the problem.
Yeah.
This one Oracle has scared them all back. How
One
crazy
Oracle
is that? This
and
is
the
a little
Warp.
sheep herding dog, dude. Woof, 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 woof.
Maybe he wants it to be this way, that he's just happy as long as he can mine resources, but I don't think that's how it works. And now he's going for this kind of... It's a very risky attack. Like, he doesn't have a Nidus Worm or something to bring these back. And he did launch a Locust Wave, but I don't think it's going to reach very far. Like, this map is so large,
Yeah, that's gonna like maybe get a pylon, maybe.
at most.
Oh,
Or maybe he
and
was
then
expecting that
overkill. You really want to
Yep.
save the hatchery, but like, oh Jesus! See, this is
Look
why.
at the push from Zest in the bottom. Like, Zest is just pushing here.
Yeah,
I'm
and
sure
the
there's
Stormhosts are on
down.
cooldown now. For like 30 more seconds.
Oof, look at this. Look at this army, man. Like, it's just Immortals and Archons. Have you seen a more scary army than this? I don't think I have. This is the scariest ground army you could... Like, if you had an army like this and maybe 4 Templar, like 4 High Templar with full energy.
Dude, this is like some F2A move shit.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, finally the
This is
Locusts
why
come off
people-
cooldown, but this is after what, 2 bases go down?
Yeah, this is why people stop making Swarmos, right? They're great
I mean-
on small maps, but on large maps, you really need to actually get them across. And True wasn't able to do that in this game, just showing the Oracle so much respect. And the War Prism as well.
Too much respect, in my opinion.
Gotta give credit to Zest also, because this isn't necessarily something that's just super, super easy for Protoss to pull off perfectly either. Like, he did so many small details that just kept True back and made sure that he wouldn't be able to put on the pressure that he was looking for with the Swarm Host. Like, a lot of very nice details that you could use here as a Protoss player to kind of ward off Swarm Hosts.
You know, I'm just saying, he researched DT Blink again, and it's winning the game. I'm not saying they're connected, but I'm also not saying they're connected.
Yeah, the evidence is mounting up.
Oh, come on, use it! Use it! God damn you, before this game is over, blink one of those DTs! Nope. I hate you, Zest. I'm now an anti-Zest fan. GG.
Hey, at least he did get the upgrade, right?
He did, yep. Another
counts for something.
2-0.
This
Also-
is the day of 2 heroes.
It is,
And
and
very
it's
quick games.
right, and it's also more very sadly the elimination of True's life in this tournament. He is now out of the Ting Open with no other redemption arc in store for him. He's just done. So rest in peace, True.
Oof. Yeah, it's rough. I mean, maybe not True's day, but I'm sure we'll see more of True later.
Other events for sure.
Yep. And this means that Zest is still hanging in there. So even if he lost the first match against YouThermal, he's still going to have another chance playing against the loser of the next match, which is going to be Bunny versus YouThermal. So Zest is going to have a new chance there.
Yeah, so we got a TVT coming up next, as you guys can see here in the brackets. The winner will go through to the round of 16. The loser will fall to face off against Zest. But, guys, we're going to go to commercials, and we'll be back in a few minutes. So thank you very much for watching. Sit tight. We got more action coming up with the TVT when we get back. All right, guys, we are back, and we're just about ready to get into this TVT. Before we do, though, because we're going to have to buy a few moments here, we got YouThermal and Bunny coming up next. We actually have a Twitch bounty I'm going to try running here really quick. This is, again, something kind of new. I want to very clearly indicate this does not have to do with the Ting Open. This is not sponsored by Ting. This is actually something sponsored through Twitch, through this Twitch bounty system. So we're going to take a small break while we wait for these guys to get ready for this TVT. So let me go look this up. It's a trailer for a new show, and I'm going to be like 100% honest. Before we go into hashtag sponsored territory, so you know I'm not like paid to talk about this yet, this actually looks like a super dope movie to me, and I'm like really don't know how I haven't heard of it before.
From the film.
Oops, sorry, that's probably a bit loud. You guys will hear that again in a second. But yeah, so here's a quick just sponsored break while we get this series ready to go. Or it will be in a second when it wants to load, because now it's not loading. All right, let's get into it.
Makers of the Lord of the Rings.
Strange to think this is what it looked like.
That's what happens when the Earth's crust gets shattered into 1,000 pieces.
After the war, cities were rebuilt on the seas, in the skies. But the deadliest ones were built on wheels.
What is that? That is London.
Yo, this looks so dope!
The largest city in the blink of an eye.
Not if we shut it down. You sure you want to do this? I have to.
Stay out of sight until I give you the signal. What signal? Trust me, you'll know. I'm not that subtle.
Hold on! We have to stop London before it destroys us.
They're playing with fire.
Cut the rope!
You want to die?
I'm gonna live.
Do it!
Mortal Engines. Experience it in IMAX. Rated PG-13. From the
Yo, okay, so real talk, I have never heard of this movie before. Also, I guess we'll get this hosted up because now the players are good to go with the maps. Cerulean Fall coming up next, but man, I don't know that that's a movie where I'm like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. But that was like some sick action-packed stuff. I love movies that look like that, and the idea of like this like moving mobile city is so cool to me. That's like some like I don't know Avatar style shit.
Yeah, I mean it looks so massive, right?
I like, and the thing too is like I've not seen any of these actors before, and for me that's like a 50-50 thing because sometimes that leads to great movies. Look at Star Wars. When they did Star Wars, none of those actors were like people that were big at the time. And then sometimes nowadays you get those same movies where it's not so good. So I'm like 50-50 on what to expect from it. But yeah, I don't know. I've never heard of that movie before, and I like the way it looks. So I hope you guys do too. It's called Mortal Engines, and I guess it's coming out in theaters soon. But we are getting players invited to this lobby, so uno momento, guys. We will continue on here. Yeah, I don't know what the story for the movie is. I don't know if it's based off a book, but I'm not gonna lie, I'd be totally down to go see that movie.
Yeah, I mean the trailer showed a little bit, but not really too much of the story, you know, or the framework,
Dude,
I should say.
Right, that's like a thing with movies. They give away so much in trailers nowadays. This made me question. This made me want to go see it.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like it gave away a lot, but I still don't know quite exactly what the not political, but like the framework. It's tough to explain for me, but.
Well, I watched a really kind of janky.
It makes you curious, right?
I watched that. I don't know if you saw this. It kind of ended up being more of a meme than a good movie, but I watched Ninja Batman. And that was something where they had like old Japanese style castles that turned into moving cities, kind of like that trailer, but then also turned into robots. So it got a little bit over the top, but
that sounds very much so like something over the top. Yes.
Yeah, but I love over the top. So hey, we'll see what that looks like. Anyways, guys, sorry for the delays. We are gonna get into Cerulean Fall coming up now. Players are ready, so let's just jump into the game. I'm going to have to go and change the title back and stuff, guys. So I'll do that in just a hot second. Before I do, though, let's get into the intros. This is the winner's match for the Ting Open, round of 32. To the top right. Oh, my God. A command center is a moving city. Holy fuck. The planetary player. It's Buddy. Mortal Engine strikes again.
And here, in the bottom left, also wielding the power of a moving city, it is Liquid YouThermal.
Boy, that sure is some ting to think about, Snoot.
It absolutely is, my friend.
Okay, so TVT.
Yeah, TVT, right? I wonder if we'll see some moving cities in this one.
Well,
complete lift up and everything.
The silly memes aside, first off, to answer some questions in chat, we are getting rocked out and blessed. Hashtag blessed with the front page slot, helping us get some extra viewers this morning. So again, hello. I know not everybody's in chat, but I welcome you to come join us, guys, for some awesome games of StarCraft 2. But TVT is a matchup that's so classically been all over the place. And for me, one of the things that is like pretty consistent is we're seeing Cyclones constantly like ebb and flow in and out of like what's a great opener. Like for a time it was Double Ravens, Innovation set the standard. Then Cyclones became such a big deal. We only saw Cyclone versus Cyclone forever. Then Cyclones stopped being good, and then the patch hit, and Cyclones are good again, question mark? Like, this matchup's had a lot of really weird evolution to it. But at the end of the day, it seems pretty consistent that no matter what you open with, Marine Tank is the direction most players tend to go.
Yeah, the mid game is a little bit more structured than the openings. The openings have always been very, very subject to the current patch and whatever is strong at the time. And even if you've had some styles being very strong or dominant, you also have people developing counter styles, and then you have the counter to the counter, and it just kind of goes crazy a little bit like that for a while. So TVT is always developing quite rapidly, but mostly depending on how the patching and how the units, how the unit design is basically. It's very, very patch sensitive like that.
Oh gosh, was it special? I'm trying to remember who it was now. I actually, someone went mech recently, and I always love seeing a mech game when it's something that's possibly viable. But hold the phone, Snoot. This is a starport, which in and of itself isn't weird, but that positioning certainly is.
Yeah, it could be one of those Hellion drop builds. But we also see a bunch of Reapers being made, so this is something very aggressive. Probably
like 3 Hellions, or 3 Reapers, 2 Hellions seems to be what's going in these drops. But then also a Liberator follow-up can be really powerful too.
Yeah, something Reaper Hellion into either Medevac or Liberator, but yeah, it's gonna be Liberator. The Reapers can jump up and down anyway, right? So the mobility is probably just going to be about pressuring the front here. It's a little bit of a strange choice because there is this high ground that you need to climb. But yeah, I think as much as this kind of seems like heavy pressure from Bunny, it's also maybe just, I don't know. I'm not a TVT expert when it comes to this. It's a very cool opening by Bunny though. Like I gotta say, it's a very control-based opening.
Here's where this gets beautiful and wonderful. If you're at WCS right now and you're like not familiar with the matchup, it's terrible because you're supposed to be the professional commentator. BaseTradeTV is all about watching StarCraft with your friends though, man. So even if you don't know what's going on, we just watch this action as Hellions jump all over the place, explosions go off. He doesn't quite get that Hellion he wants it. Doesn't get it.
This is really not that great for Bunny, right? Like that just fell flat on its face.
Well, it might
here
be.
We have the Liberator.
There's no anti-air. The only thing he's going to have that shoots up is the auto turret from the Raven, maybe.
You know, it's funny. I was about to say the same thing for Bunny. Like, what if YouThermal proxied something like a Banshee on the other side of the map? Sure, it would take longer. Or like a proxy Liberator from YouThermal. Like, that could have happened too. And Bunny's been making Cyclones at home, but we don't see that from YouThermal. So this is actually dealing quite a bit of damage here. Auto turret goes down. Let's see if he dodge. Yep.
He should be able to run away, yeah. The Cyclone obviously is better in terms of everything, but what this Liberator's going to do is what picks up an SCV killer too. It denies mining on that second base. So now Bunny's not so far behind. But YouThermal gets across the map with these Hellions. He was really hoping to run in and roast things up. The Cyclone's pretty low. Oh, but the repairs, can he kill it? I don't think he can.
Even after the patch, I feel like the Cyclone still deals a lot of damage. Yeah, there you go.
Sleepy Man, Mark Schlappy taps out, and Bunny will take game 1.
And it's only, well, I mean, Bunny brought a very cool build, but it would have failed terribly if not for that one Liberator. Like, that one Liberator changed absolutely everything. If that starport wasn't proxied like that, if it was something else like a Banshee or like a Medivac, some sort of weird delayed Hellion type of drop, or something, I don't know, something else, then this wouldn't have worked. But this Liberator hit so fast, and YouThermal didn't have the response he needed. He didn't have the Cyclone to shoot up or just anything to deal with it besides the Raven. So yeah, very aggressive and cool build by Bunny. Perhaps a little bit risky. I'm not too sure about the risk reward of that build, but he did use a proxy. So yeah, quick 1-0 for Bunny.
Well,
So,
it's a best of 3. Fingers crossed we see a bounce back here. Might just see
yeah,
a
it
trend
can
of
still
2-0s
bounce back,
though.
for sure. I mean, YouThermal had very, very strong opening, but like you mentioned earlier, he's been feeling a little tired.
Yeah,
maybe
this
traveling or whatnot, but
no. So this is not an excuse, but this is a factor going into the best of 3. YouThermal told me basically not only did he not sleep for a long time, he didn't get much sleep when he did sleep, so he is kind of working at the end of his ropes here. However, for the YouThermal fans out there, fret not. This is the winner's match. So if YouThermal does lose here, he's not eliminated, and he goes to rematch against the player he already beat in the group. Yeah, that goes. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's hop into game 2, Kairos Junction. See you guys in game.
and in the bottom right, currently down a map, it is Liquid YouThermal.
I was muted. Well,
oh, you were muted.
yeah, top left, it's the blue Terran player up 1-0. We got Bunny. What was I?
Team Blazer.
What was I just
You're in
saying?
the bottom right. I'll do it again. It is Liquid
Well, you were good.
YouThermal.
They could hear you. It was just me.
Yeah, you just do it one more time. It's okay.
So it's a better caster. Anyways, you got it. That's true. Of course, big thank you again. Just we got an opening to speak of here. Not just to my co-caster Snoot for joining me today. Thank you for that. But also to our sponsors, guys. Well, we played a little bit of a break in continuity there. We are back on the Ting and the Hover hype train. And while we talked a little bit about Ting, quick note to Hover, because what's unfortunate is we got a lot of people who want to support this tournament and see, season 6 and season 7 and so forth. And if you want to make that happen, that's where Ting needs customers. That's where Hover needs customers. And Hover is not limited and restricted to the United States. Hover is all about domains. If you guys are doing websites, you should super check them out. You get 10% off by going to hover.com/BTTV. But best of all is if you've watched any other podcasts or you listen to most YouTube things, like Hover sponsors a lot of really quality people. So even though it's our first season working with them, I was super okay with them being a co-sponsor because I've heard them on my favorite podcast before. So be sure to check them out. Also, if you guys are using Match Arena, the coupon code is also Hover. Coincidence? No, not at all.
Very similar builds here.
Yeah, but he managed to force Bunny to misplace his command center a little bit, which...
yeah, it's a little annoying. It's a little annoying. Looks kind of silly too.
It's not a big deal, but it's a small win. It's a petty win. It's the small things that matter in the early game.
Yeah. This is one of the larger maps, so maybe we'll see. Well, to be fair, Cerulean Fall is also pretty large, and well, but at least we aren't seeing any proxies this time around. So this game is probably going to go on for a little bit longer.
Yeah, and I'm ready for a longer game. Vodka 7up wants to know, what's your favorite podcast? I really like Hello Internet and Comedy Bang Bang. I think they're probably the two I listen to the most, but I listen to like pretty much everything, just not all at the same time, right? Like I'll have a month of listening to this podcast and a month of listening to that podcast. What about you, Snoot? Any favorites?
Podcasts is one of those things that I never really started listening to too much. Like,
Really?
maybe some, yeah. Like, I remember it being a thing back when, you know, Apple and iTunes and all that was getting popular. Like, then everyone started making podcasts, but I never actually subscribed to anything. So, I listen to some, like music shows sometimes, maybe.
I
But
listen
that's
to the
more like live sets and things.
I listen to the Pylon Show quite often, kind of as a podcast. Usually,
Oh, yeah.
when I'm out walking and stuff. Like I don't have it
Yeah, that sounds
open
nice.
watching. It's just in my pocket. I'm listening to it type thing.
Yeah.
But okay, we saw a little bit of a scuffle there. As you guys can see, it kind of just traded out. Nothing too crazy. YouThermal took the worst end of the trade, unfortunately. It's a little more expensive to lose what he lost. Bunny's going to follow this up with a Cyclone, and this is actually really deadly. This one unit this early, because of its ability to kite, is terrifying for YouThermal. He's got to be careful. The Hellions are good enough to blitz this down, though, if he gets a good attack off. Oh, but there's that first
YouThermal
kite.
has to defend. But Bunny, on the flip side, if he gets caught here, then these units will get punished. So if YouThermal can overwhelm this, then Bunny is going to lose all of its units. And YouThermal does have the superior mobility here.
Yeah.
So he's going to press this back and punish Bunny from moving out.
You know, the Hellions, they don't do bonus damage to the Cyclones, but with the Cyclone only having 120 health, still died. Ooh, we got a big badass coming to the stream today. Laser SCQ, thank you for the 20 bucks. Split that with Snoot up a little bit later. He says, a few time for... I'll read that after, dude. Sorry, it's not showing up the message properly. I'll check that after game. Thank you for the 20 bucks. There's Laser SCQ. What are you going to get with your $10, Snoot? There's no kebabs, right? Back where you live? It's only in Krefeld?
No, there are some, but I think I'll save it. The kebab is cheaper in Krefeld. I'll wait for the next sponsor we got, maybe.
Fair enough. I'm sitting there thinking, like, man, I'm going to get a 6-inch sub. Snoot's like,
reasonable spending, right?
I love that you're like, I'll just put it in my bank, invest it, you know? Like,
No. Just, it's going to restaurants here can be quite expensive real fast. So if I'm going to eat kebabs, Krefeld is the place. 100%.
yeah, dude, I was really glad someone told me to go to Grill Palace or whatever that was. The one I went with you and Annie. That place was super nice. I liked it.
Yeah.
It was yummy.
Good place.
Tom Straight Cup taught me that kebab is a currency in Germany. Well, Alpikut, sounds like you had a good time.
10 kebabs equals 1 sofa.
Right. I like that sofa. Frederick, or Frenkie in chat. Oh, thank you. Whoa, hey, not only does he host us, he subs. Fucking good guy to Muslim. Thank you very much. Is the decider today? Yes, all matches are played out for this group today. So we have the winners match now and the deciders match after. Is this the famous mage and warrior combo? Are you ready to do some arena, Snoot?
I don't play that.
All right, this attack out of Bunny is really nicely set up. 2 Ravens, lots of energy. YouThermal in most other situations will be fine, but Interference Matrix is going to hit that tank, and he's going to have nothing to defend with.
Yeah, both players have been powering up for a while, but let's see here. Bunny being the one being a little bit aggressive. Cloak Banshee dealing a little bit of damage but getting warded off in the top left. Just a little bit of a standoff here.
Oh, he can get stimmed.
Yeah, but it seems perhaps a little bit indecisive with this. The Banshee is gonna get taken out. I think Bunny is just kind of surprised to see that there is no third CC on location. Like, that's basically what he was hunting for, right? He's trying to find out if YouThermal has a CC somewhere, but he's not finding any. So I think
Nice.
Bunny is just kind of scouting around and being like, well, if there's no third CC on location, I'm just going to stick around, see if I can maybe get some damage, and then maybe back off again.
Yeah, one thing really missing here for YouThermal, I think it's kind of important, combat shields would be a huge lead to have, but not thinking about that right now. The auto turret's come down. He's got to walk away.
Yeah.
It's the best option. Those do too much damage in too small of a time frame.
Yeah,
Tank?
I mean,
Oh, repair the tank, repair the tank.
The opening just played out very well for Bunny, and sure, he loses this army, but YouThermal doesn't have a third CC yet. Like, this is only YouThermal on 2 bases, so even if it looks like he was able to hold this off, he's still down a base. Like, he needs to make something happen real soon.
Well, he knows that. That's why he's going immediately across the map. Now, he is going to be up in army. He knows this because he just won that fight, but unfortunately, due to production and the amount of money Bunny has, like, he's only up in army supply for now.
Yep.
The Raven lived too,
Very
so
nice.
he's got another interference matrix to block out a tank.
Very nice sensor tower usage here. Also by Bunny, sees every single move coming out of YouThermal here. But he's just been looking very solid ever since Home Story Cup. I'm very impressed with what we've been seeing from him.
Same. But this isn't a hold yet. Raven just got picked off. This positioning's been cut in two. He's getting on top of the tank now. Takes control of the high ground while this goes on. Since it's already down, he has to pull SCVs.
A lot of bonus supplies in SCVs, actually.
Yeah.
He does hold his space for now, though. But this is a very strong position by YouThermal, right? He has these two tanks. I think a little bit to the south. They're advancing right now.
There is something missing from this, though. YouThermal never got those combat shields as fast as I would have liked. And if he was fighting combat shields versus no combat shields, he could actually just stim in there and win. But combat shields is a little behind.
YouThermal is actually dropping the third CC right now. So even if this doesn't work, he's actually prepared to transition into a macro game from here.
Oh, that's a little... He pulls back with the Marines a little too far. That Liberator sets up. That'll kill the tanks. YouThermal's attack is dead. He does so much damage, though, so I think that third CC is that leg back into the game, right? Like, this was him all in or nothing before, but while he couldn't kill Bunny with his all in, he did allow him to get back into the game a bit. He killed a lot on the other side of the map while this went on. 18 SCVs in total died.
Very nice scan. I think Bunny realizes that even if he took a little bit of damage there, he's still in a good spot. I think this is still very rough for YouThermal. Like, it was a nice move, but I think he probably needed to do a little bit more than what he just accomplished. Even if it wasn't very nice. It was a very bold attempt, but it doesn't seem to be enough for now, at least.
Yeah, it's pretty sick, Snoot. We just broke 6,000 viewers, by the way, so good morning, front page of Twitch. How you doing?
Welcome, welcome. It's good to have so many people with us for this StarCraft 2 stream.
Yeah, it's a little game you may have never heard of before. Pretty new. No. I can't wait till it comes out of beta. Oh, sorry, that's World of Warcraft. I hate the expansion.
Everything is good here in StarCraft. Very refined at this point. Free to play. If you ever want to check out StarCraft, you can go to the relevant websites. Let's see. The relevant websites. You can go
contact your local politician.
StarCraft2.com. And you need to submit a form. No, I'm just kidding. You can actually just download it there.
What is going? You know, Blizzard doesn't pay me to say this, guys, but I want to say it just because it's such a cool thing. If you missed it, StarCraft 2 is free to play now. When I say free to play, I mean like, except the campaign. But let's be honest, most people who want to play the campaign already bought it for the campaign. So if you've ever been like,
it's about the multiplayer.
Yeah,
and,
you get access to co-op, arcade, 1v1s, ladder, all free.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like super tryhard one-on-one, but of course you can play that too. And yeah.
Unless you're like me or Fear Dragon, I think 1v1 is tryhard, no matter how you describe it.
I mean, it's very nice to have a game with that's free and has a very decent entry like that, you know? I've been thinking about, you know, Smash Ultimate, right? That just came out.
Hold the phone, dude. He just took out all the siege tanks.
Yeah,
Blitzing on the last couple ones. YouThermal making some good waves, but still down in supply. And with those Vikings up, it's going to be really hard to actually break Bunny, but his aggression is paying off.
This is a sneaky counterattack by Bunny, which I think is going to seal the deal. Just 2 medevac, 16 marine hit squad. Going to take out YouThermal's eco. That's it.
Oh, another 2-0. We've been cursed with this group. Good games, but all too short and all too sweet.
Yeah. What can you say? Like, Bunny is just on fire. It's crazy. He performed at Home Story Cup. Showed some very strong games there. Very fast-paced games. And he's been able to bring this to this online Ting event also. Like, I just keep being impressed by this guy. Bunny, just looking more and more solid.
Well, one of the best things about this is that means Bunny is out of the group and into the round 16. So if you guys are also impressed by Bunny, you're going to see some more of him here in the Ting Open. However, next up is going to be a rematch. And before we go to break, Snoot, I got to get your thoughts on this, right? Like, typically through DreamHack more than other events, but in general, when we see these rematches of rematches in the groups, it is like really statistically higher chance that it goes the opposite direction the second time around. Like,
do you know the exact numbers for this?
I would love to quote you something on this. I actually took the time to look this up a few years back, but I remember looking at it. It was really high, like an 80% or higher number, where like most people who replayed in matches were like losing the second time around. So I don't know if that number carries through 2 years later. It's been a while. I'm kind of working off of old data, guys. But either way, YouThermal, for those who missed it, did 2-0 Zest at the start of the group. Oh, here's the brackets. Let me just update this really quick, guys. 1, 2, 3, snap. There you go. Yeah, so Bunny's out in first place. But yeah, YouThermal took a 2-0 over Zest. And if you missed us casting those games, that was a convincing 2-0 as well. That wasn't like Zest fought hard and it was like a long back and forth. Like, that was YouThermal rocking that first series of the day. So now we got the rematch. It's Zest versus YouThermal. It's the finals of the group. And we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, I have to say, like, the first series that they played, I think YouThermal looked very, very convincing. Even in the game, the second game where he got into a little bit of trouble, he just turned it around like it was nothing and just walked over Zest. Like, it was crazy. I really thought that Zest was going to achieve quite a bit with that stalker pressure that he did. But it just didn't turn out to be even close. Like, it was ridiculous. So if YouThermal can keep up something similar, then it might be another 2-0, you know?
Maybe. See how it plays out. Oh, also, I gotta get that donation message from earlier. I couldn't read. Because we just had Sean DeWolf11. Thank you for the 15 months. He says, subscribing to save esports. Oh, wait. Sarah already did that. Time to root for YouThermal. Nice. Magic's DK came in for 28 months. Just went home early from work, and whoop whoop, BaseTradeTV is streaming. Well, thank you for joining us. And then there's the 20 bucks. Laser SEQ donated earlier. He says, a few Tyne milk for Snoot and some maple syrup or maybe ketchup for Rifkin. Ace Vampire. Well, you ruined the message with that last emote, but thank you for the kind words. I guess a couple things to talk about before we do hop into this last series, guys. Again, this is the sponsored tournament. Big love to Ting. Thank you all for helping make this happen. But I gotta ask a big favor from you, Twitch chat, and this is gonna be really annoying, but I'm only doing it once this cast, so here it is. There's a Matcherino page. Some of you know what Matcherino is. Some of you are gonna be unfamiliar with it. Let me walk you through this really quick. If you click on the link after typing !Matcherino in the chat, it brings you to the prize pool of this tournament. If you are somebody who's super passionate about esports, surely you can donate your own money, as some people have. However, you can also pump up the prize pool of this tournament and be part of this tournament for free. If you sign in, Twitch, Twitter, who uses Google+, let's be honest, but whatever your choice is, you sign into Matcherino, and if you go into the coupon code slot and type HOVER, well, type it correctly, HOVER, one of the sponsors of the tournament, it'll add 50 cents to the prize pool. And if you're willing to go the extra mile, you can also follow Ting on Twitter for another 50 cents, and subscribe to the YouTube for another 50 cents. So you can add $1.50 to the prize pool without ever giving any payment information, without making any payments. And this isn't some like Matcherino bucks bullshit, guys. This is real money. This is US dollars that the players get to extract when the tournament is all said and done. And as I had been highlighting, this is percentage based. First place in the tournament's worth 35%. Right now, that's worth $1,468. Our goal is to hopefully have that look more like 5K by the end of the season by putting up cool rewards and other things. At the moment, all we're really doing is asking you to contribute for free. There's not a lot more to it than that. So if you guys could take a few seconds of your time, it could go a long way. Thank you very much. But guys, we got to go to commercials. Once we're back, we'll have this last best of 3 started with YouThermal versus Zest. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, 3, 2, 1! That's what I really love about the way he bobbed and weaved the medevac. He knew that would be the main attraction. He knew that would be the big target. So it kind of like forced the stalkers to stay in range of the cyclones.
Oh my god.
He's gonna lose maybe one more marine there. The cyclone is finally here to save the day.
Nice micro. Keeps us talking alive. Oh, so sick! Oh, that was so sick!
It's literally energy, though. Energy on the Oracle's energy on the shield battery. Okay.
Where's stats is 1 probe? That's what I want.
Wait.
Oh my god.
Are you real? Oracles are so good. Oh my god. Are you fucking kidding me?
But did David forget No, you can't. But the oracle's out of juice? GG.
matters.
Oh my god, what? Patience is supposed to win! What? Also, look at this. It's the only time we're gonna see a Terran symbol.
You get a good point.
Oh! Brilliant, actually. It's pretty much, yeah, I think so this should have been obvious, I think.
Once 3-3 kicks in, he might have an easier time, but the fact that there's constant backstab here is just going to be so good.
Oh, man!
Like, actually taking these engagements, keeping his cool for the most part while everything was going sideways. You're like getting about.
Oh, he tried to trap the ultras with the cool so they could get him with the Eliminator. That was so cool! GG! The only other person I've seen do that was
Impact.
I've still got the hatchery selected. I'm watching Impact's vision right now.
Sees it. He's there long enough. How does he not see it?
Oh my god, guys, it's going down.
What? Wait, is that you or is it him?
No, I moved back. That's me. I moved back.
Damn
Sorry.
it. No, it's gonna die. It's gonna die. It's
30.
seriously gonna die. The
20.
drone took 10 minutes and it killed it.
Oh my god, it's going down! Oh, what else? So the ghosts just have no problem sniping off the very few army supply that comes at them. But when there's 80 Zerglings behind these ultras, I'm watching these banelings. Oh, come on. Come on. Come on.
my god!
Oh, yeah.
The Marines?
Well, folks, we are getting into the final match of the day. This group has gone much faster than expected, but 2-0s will do that for you. This is a rematch, and spawning here in the top right, fighting for his life. In the round of 32, we have none other than Zest.
And he's up against the blue Terran player from Team Liquid. It is YouThermal.
We have some people asking to chat about the promo code again. Yes, it is Hover, H-O-V-E-R, is in the second sponsor for this tournament. Ting and Hover are owned by the same company. They've come together to pump up the prize pool and make this more awesome. And the reason, by the way, this is a $4,000 prize pool instead of a $5,000 prize pool as we've had in the past. You guys may have missed out, but we did... Ooh, think of this up. We did $1,000 in Season 5's preseason through like 7 or 8 different cups. So there's still a lot of money that's been dished out through Ting, and I love they support StarCraft 2 and all this good stuff, guys. You know, they sponsor Neeb, they sponsor these events, so I'm all on board with them wanting to bring Hover in to make this an even better experience. Because, yeah, again, the downside with Ting is it's US only. Hover's global, so if you're interested in domains and websites, definitely check out Hover, guys. But, okay, this proxy mind game didn't work the first time, if you remember, because Zest didn't scout. This time Zest scouts, and I'm wondering if this will throw him for a loop. He sees 2 gases. He sees no barracks. So much of this is suspicious as hell.
Yep. And he sees the SUV coming in.
Oh.
So that's kind of like, well, did it come from the proxy location, or what is happening here?
Well, actually, this is kind of cool. I want to bring this up for a second, because we've seen Protoss players building like this on Stasis a lot, and I think, is it Kairos Junction's the other one? Because this blocks a Reaper hop-up spot, so if a Reaper does come in, it can only go in from this side. And it doesn't seem to actually affect anything too much, like, in terms of SimCity, because it's not versus Zerg. So, a unique way to do this that we are seeing constantly evolve the way people play this game.
I can only imagine what would happen with siege tanks and such, but I guess the Protoss players know what they're doing in that regard. Like, they're not too concerned about their cyber getting sniped or huge pressure setting up outside of the natural.
Yeah.
Although it does look kind of sketchy, though. I have to say, when you build your base like this, if I were a new player just looking at this, I would be like, well, this looks kind of sketchy, but I suppose it does make sense. Controlling that first Reaper is so important, especially if it's proxy, then it hits extra fast, right?
Ooh. And there's Magpul Accelerator coming up for the follow-up. this upgrade adds... This sounds ridiculous out of context, so I'm just going to say it wrong first. This adds 400 damage to the Cyclone's attacks. Wait, what? If you guys don't know, lock-on does 400 damage over 14 seconds or something like that. This will double the damage it deals versus armored units explicitly, so it could like 5-shot a shield battery or like take down stalkers like they're nothing. This is like, you ever see this that stupid trend of YouTube videos? It was like a flaming hot knife through like various objects. That's what this upgrade does to armored units.
Yep, the Reaper was trying to jump into the natural of Zest, but still not able to see too much, as far as I can tell. Just the same setup. He did get a read on the unit composition, but the Reaper was taken out. So, like in the earlier games where YouThermal was able to scout the robotics, we don't really see that here. And he sees this Oracle, but since he saw the Sentry, it's not doing anything. He knows, of course, that this one is fake.
I do love that choice, though, because the Oracle is slightly slower than the Phoenix, still gets the same scouting, but there's that small chance, you pre-pull the SCVs or you overreact to it. It's unlikely to happen at this level of play with players like YouThermal, but I've seen it happen.
It can happen for sure, just instinctively. You're so scared of Oracles, right?
Dude, I cast a Patreon replay 2 days ago, and he hallucinated a Void Ray into the main base, and while it was doing 0 damage, the guy pulled all his probes away, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, we've had some great moments with that in the past, haven't we?
Yeah, with, some iconic moments. All right, well, halluc or not, the fear of this is past. He's ready to go with 3 Cyclones. Magfield Accelerator is done. And seriously, if these get to lock onto anything, whether it's a Warp Prism, an Immortal, Stalkers, a building, they are going to do massive damage. Like, to show you guys the highlight, it is 400 plus 400 versus armored over 14 seconds. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I think YouThermal is maybe picking up on the fact that Zest is making these Stalker-heavy comps in the early game. Like, he's very, very heavy on the Stalkers. He did this in the previous series also.
Ooh.
And now he sees it for sure.
What is scary that Blink is done?
The upgrade is a bit of a response to it. But Blink is powerful too, right?
Yes,
so this is actually kind of sketchy for YouThermal.
Yeah,
even if these Cyclones have their upgrade, yeah, he's in trouble, no?
Took him out of the range of the lock-ons. Of course, the fears that he just blink on top of him with only 120 health. These are like
going down. It's Zest's main. This is going to get sketchy. The Prism is actually going to get taken down. Zest actually just lost his War Prism, so the reinforcements are not going to be there. So this is very violent for both players. Both players taking hits here to the workers, but Zest currently has the stronger supply.
Yo, Red Hot Chili Tester, thank you for the Prime sub, and rest in peace to your bumhole. Stimuli just starts. This is so far away from being something he can just like actually fight with. But the Cyclone can kite for a very long time. When the force field breaks, every time he grabs a stalker, it's pretty much guaranteed to die. Yeah, but he's really scared about getting blinked on.
It does seem like Zest is getting the advantage here. YouThermal is about to lose his orbital command, the natural base, while Zest is taking the 3rd base.
He does want to repair, but oh no, I don't think he'd save it.
I don't think so either. It does fall.
Devastating. GG.
Yep.
We'll say it since he doesn't. GG.
Yeah, that's a very rough first game of this series.
Also completely mirrored to what we had before, like opposite world here where YouThermal crush Zest. Zest takes that first game pretty nicely. But Red Hat Chili Tester says, something for my favorite player turned caster, Snoot. Hell yeah. Nice. Aww. Uncle Groovy, thank you for that Twitch Prime as well. Yeah, guys, if you don't know, just like full transparency with BaseTradeTV, I'm not taking your sub money and pocketing it. It funds being able to pay to bring co-casters on or throw tournaments and stuff. Like, the money I get from BaseTradeTV is like ad revenue, which is usually like so-so, right? I split tips with the co-casters, all that good stuff. So big love, of course, for you guys subbing, because it helps me bring people like Snoot out to come enjoy the show with us. And if you are enjoying Snoot's casting, well, today has been all too simple and sweet. He will be back tomorrow, same time, same channel, as we have another Korean group playing out. But that's getting ahead of ourselves. We got to get through this one first. We're almost done with the day.
This has been so fast compared to the
I know.
other group.
Yesterday when we did the Europeans, it was like a 6.5 hour broadcast. This is like 2 hours
like
long.
The Europeans, they just play these long macro games. with all these stalemates and slow swarm host games, and then you get the Korean groups where they play actual StarCraft. It's like the game just speeds up by this multiple of 5.
Also, you know what's pretty dope? We lost front page prior to that game starting. Still rocking 5,000 something viewers. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching BaseTradeTV this morning. Watching two nerds just talk about a game they enjoy.
Man. StarCraft is a game that just kind of lures you in and it keeps you there.
It's enjoyable. What a surprise. Who'd have thunk it? Oh, I take it back. We are on the front page. I thought we had lost it. Never mind. I take it back. Thank you for watching for the front page. I got all excited about that for a second.
The point still stands. But StarCraft 2 is a great game. Definitely the best and most easy to get into RTS that you could get into these days. Like if you have to pick an RTS to play, I still think it's StarCraft 2.
And it's not pay to win. Yet. Sad face.
If you're very try hard and want to play something really, really demanding, then StarCraft Brood War might also be for you. But honestly, I think StarCraft 2...
No, fuck Brood War, dude.
No. They're both very hard, but definitely go for SE2. I think it's a great game to get into out of the RTSs out there.
Well, guys, we're getting a blue shift for game 2. See you on the map. All right, guys, it's game 2. Sorry for that little black screen. I hit the button a little late, but in a reverse turn of events, spawning here in the top right, he's got 1 point on the board. This is the final match of the group. We've got Zest.
And here in the bottom left, he didn't win the first map this time, so is he going to come back? It is Liquid YouThermal.
So you were talking about Brood War a little bit before the break, or before the intro, and then during the intro, you asked me an interesting question. Have you played the campaign? And actually, yeah, Zombie Grub and I, we did like a Brood War / original campaign race prior to Legacy of the Void coming out. To see like, you know, just get that nostalgia run and all that good stuff. And I had played it before, but so very long ago, I had forgot about everything. And oh my God, first off, won that race super hardcore. But secondly, man, things like Infested Terrans do 500 damage. That kind of took me back to, oh, right, this is a thing. Goliath Micro, this is a thing. It was agonizing to play because I'm so used to StarCraft 2, but it did bring back good war memories of this story. Because I'm going to be honest, I really don't like StarCraft 2's story. It's really inconsistent and all over the place, and people have heard all the complaints. It's still cool. I enjoyed the ride, don't get me wrong. But Brood War actually had a story I could get behind. It was like that classic, just space story.
Yeah, I played both campaigns and I like them both. They're of course a little bit different, but I like how dark and kind of gritty the StarCraft Brood War is. Like it's kind of
right.
Yeah, it has a kind of dark space theme going on. I really like it.
I will say I liked a lot of it. The whole Protoss arc was great, but the relationship between Alexei Stukov and Dugall or whatever, fucking. That was so dumb. He was so easily churned against his friend, like unrealistically easily churned by fucking Duran, aka Narud, which by the way is his name backwards. Oh my God. I was like, where's Dracula? He'd be so jealous right now. Anyways,
goes in, sees the factory completing, sees the tech lab going down.
There's something else that's completed he hasn't seen yet either.
He lets the probe in.
Sure, but there's a bunker up, Snoot, on the other side of the map.
I know, man. I was about to say it, but we were talking about the campaign and stuff. Oh, 5 probes in gas. For any of the new players out there, you want to have 3 in gas, not 5. That's a little bit inefficient. So I think maybe Zest is stressing out a little bit here. Maybe Thermal is distracting him. All right, it's correct. It's Zest being on point.
By the way, interesting.
Salvage.
Yeah. Sharkbait says, my son is named after their battlecruiser. So you named your son Alexander? That's cool, I guess. Yo, do you play much co-op, Snoot, or no?
No.
One of my favorite lines...
Some of my friends play it a lot, but I've only played it a few times.
I love co-op. I'm a co-op fiend. One of my favorite lines for playing Stukov is when you call down the Alexander. He's like, I'm just glad De Gaulle wasn't around to see it like this or something because it's all infested and broken.
Oh, yeah.
I love little callbacks and throwbacks like that.
I think if I wasn't such a tryhard multiplayer one-on-one player, then I probably would enjoy co-op a lot because co-op games can be very fun, I think.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're a guy who enjoyed the campaign but didn't really get into co-op. I feel like they're very, you know,
yeah, they're kind of similar, right?
Yeah.
Like each commander has their own kind of story behind it, and yeah.
Well, okay, by the way, I didn't get to touch base on this because things started kicking up, but I want to explain why I really hate the story for StarCraft 2, okay? And it's not necessarily
Be gentle,
this...
Be gentle.
Well, it's not necessarily the cinematics. It's more, it has to do with the lore they put in behind the scenes that really makes me mad. I mean, there's things with Tychus and relationships and the love story. Everyone hits space on those. The one I always get back to is like, the reason for removing siege mode research from the siege tanks is literally because Marines wear diapers. And I'm like, that's some A+ writing. Well done, well played. If you guys don't know the story about this, TLDR, there's this thing called Project Blackwatch. You guys have probably heard me rant about this on stream before. Long story short, there's a literal conversation between like two generals in the StarCraft 2 Terran army where one says, well, why do we put toilets on the siege tank? Why don't we get rid of them because we're wearing diapers and make room for siege mode instead? To which I'm like, you know that reaction to the guy who's like, okay then. Like, that's how I feel when I hear stuff like that, reasoning their decisions in the game.
They're just doing it to trigger people, you know? It's like bait.
I take the bait, dude. I get mad.
You take the bait.
Yeah.
No, I agree. It's kind of ridiculous, right?
That's just one of many, by the way, guys. If you really want to deep dive into it, the backstory for StarCraft makes no fucking sense.
It's just bait. They're just baiting everyone. That's why they added Protoss to the game, right?
Yeah. Like, how many nerds can we make mad? All right. We have the base hitting the main base with his shield battery and the observer sub. This is not going to do anything like it did before. As I highlighted in the first time around, but I'll bring up again, 5 shots to kill a probe now instead of 2. It's way too much time. Not enough. Not worth it. But Euthermal's also pushing, and I don't know if I like this. The Colossus will tear through the SCVs.
He knows now, of course, but this means that Euthermal has to delay this siege tank push that he's been preparing for a while. He had another 2-base push, like Euthermal is not expanding behind this. Zest is, so Euthermal needs to make something happen here once again, and having the high ground vision here, using scans, is going to be very important. He has the Banshee, but if he loses that one, he's going to need to burn some scans. But either way...
You know what? He takes on the Stalkers. The tanks work out really well for this.
But Zest is prepared, man. Like, he's got double Colossus, he's got shield batteries, he's got Stalkers warping in. He doesn't have Blink. I'm not sure if he should be moving out, but he's feeling confident. Like,
he's gonna lose high ground. He's gonna lose high ground. Scans. Ooh, gets the Colossus.
Nice.
Oh my god, the trades here are so expensive for both players. Euthermal really wants that Colossus. One more shot. Doesn't get it. Kills the Stalker instead. Oh my god.
Definitely more expensive for Euthermal.
Oh, for sure. But not by much. Look at the resources lost, actually. Surprisingly close.
Yeah. I was wrong about the Thirsty Sea. It is building. It's about to complete, so it's maybe not that bad, but I do feel that Zest is pretty far ahead after this exchange.
His timing, though, is really interesting, because I don't know that this was a plan through CC. I feel like Euthermal was gearing towards an all-in and realized, oh, okay, well, this is going to trade, so I better start with CC so I can still play this out. And he's gone mech behind this, which is super unconventional, but Euthermal is a guy who plays unconventional. When he couldn't figure out how to beat Zerg, he was doing the weirdest stuff, and I love seeing him play very different and off the book, so with mech in play, I'm excited to see what's coming up next. So far, it's Cyclones. We know that much.
There was a time when a lot of Terrans were struggling with Protoss in Europe, and then Euthermal all of a sudden brought out mech play against them, and he just destroyed everyone, at least for a while. And he's that player who can really prepare something special, something unique.
Yeah.
So the question is if Zest is going to pick up on this in the first place, and yeah, like, it's a difficult transition to make, you know? Mech takes time to build up. So with the advantage that Zest got early, maybe he's just going to finish things. I'm not sure.
I think it's a good idea. Yeah, exactly. Double Star gets the perfect response to this. Mech anti-air is hella weak. Although Cyclones are pretty good if they can get lock-ons, but that's still getting in range to get the lock-on in the first place. Lot to be said on that one. He sees the Colossus coming. He's sieging up. Cyclones got to get a lock on before they get into the fight because they can't sit there. Cyclones are no longer frontline brawlers like they have been for the last year. They are simply like kite them and do a lot of damage glass cannon units. Also, someone's asking in chat, what takes 5 shots instead of 2? If there's a shield battery up, a Banshee takes 5 shots to kill a probe instead of 2 due to the healing of the shield battery. But always out of position for this one, Snoot. I think he was hoping to come in from behind or base trade, I guess?
Well, either way, Zest knows exactly what is going on. He has an observer in the middle, so he sees the exact size of YouThermal's army. He knows how far he can push this. He does have the option of a recall.
He recalls.
Yep. I mean, he has no reason not to recall. He's been playing a very tech-heavy transition here, going for the Stargate stall, right?
He's wasting a lot of lock-ons. I'm worried about this.
Maybe he's just trying to play it very conservatively. Like, Zest is willing to give up the 4th and just cancel it, because it's not finished, right? And now he sees that these tanks are exposed, so he's going to go and pick those off. So that's a very good pick-off for Zest, and he could have canceled. Like, he actually could have saved it.
The base knight's so quick.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Tempest are so interesting right now. They've got like 10 ground range, I think, and also deal 40 damage a shot. They move as fast as a Void Ray. They're very different units, frankly, than what they were before. But there's, at the same time, like, we got Widowmines, we got Drilling Claws, we got Cyclones. I don't know that Tempests are going to be an auto win on this one. I thought this was going to go towards like Void Rays or Carriers.
But I think either way, like, this was a very good call by Zest. Just buying time, doing the recall, the safe choice. There's a lot of Cyclones though, but I do think that Zest should have the army to fight this off, and YouThermal seems to be feeling the same way about this force.
Yeah, I think YouThermal knows exactly where he's at in terms of, like, if he can kite, grab a lock-on, walk away, he'll do a lot of damage, but the problem is getting in range for that without sacrificing all your Cyclones.
These observers are so fast. Is that the gravitic booster upgrade?
Yes.
Yeah, they move so quickly. Like, Zest has just perfect vision. Well, as I say that, YouThermal is actually sneaking out on the bottom side, and Zest doesn't see this.
Zest is, by the way, usually been a player with like, he's normally got a Zealot, a Pylon, an Observer. Like, the fact that he doesn't see this coming is amazing to me. But his strategic recall, it's off cooldown. If he wants to recall, he could do it once again.
Zest needs to make a very crisp decision here. A couple of Zealots and Stalkers just hitting supply depots. That's not exactly what he wants.
There's so many lock-ons on that Nexus. That thing's gonna die so quick.
Yep. But YouThermal's 3rd CC is also going to die very quickly. Zest does have that backup 4th base he can fall back on, but it's all about the armies at this point.
Yeah, blitzing the Nexus like this is kind of cool. It reminds me of Polt back in the day with Marauders, but at the end of the
recall.
Oh, he kills the Tempest too, by the way. If he can kill this army, kite it around, he's got the damage. It's just about getting range to get the initial lock on, and he can't quite grab it.
That is a long shot against so many charged Zealots combined with the Colossus.
I think he's
Never
dead.
mind Tempests that are also shooting, and GG.
Oof.
It happens. The rematch curse, as we call it. If you 2-0 someone, and then you have to face them again.
I'm telling you, man, it's a real thing. It's not just me pulling numbers out of my ass.
Yeah. Well,
I'm sad. I really like YouThermal. I didn't want him knocked out of the group, man.
Yeah. And the games, like, all of the games here looked so convincing, right? Just 2-0s, 2-0s, another 2-0. But YouThermal looked so convincing against Zest in the first series, and then it just kind of flip-flopped, right? Just a bit of a strange day, I have to admit. So many clean 2-0s.
Yeah, I love it because North America and Europe, they've been going the distance, but these guys in Korea, there's 2 groups now where it's just been 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0 all the way through. I'm not complaining, but it is interesting to watch because I feel like what sucks is the limitation here isn't the players being bad, so they're losing. The limitation has a lot more to do with, like, it's the best of 3 format. I've seen so many games where players go down 0-2 and then bring it back 3-2, and it's like the best series of all time. That option's gone when it's a best of 3, unfortunately. But here's the final standings of the group, guys. So Bunny and Zest will be the 2 players moving on to the round of 16. I believe they'll be joining Solar and Gumiho, if memory serves.
Yep, that is correct.
Nice. And then, of course, tomorrow's group, which we have going on. Oh boy, it's a good one. I'm glad Snoot's back for it too, because we got Zanster, Tasia, Creator, and Cure. A lot of variety in that group, and that's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, it's a very similar group to today. Double Terran, one Zerg, and one Protoss player. But a lot of interesting matches in this one. It's going to be cool to see what Sandster can accomplish. He's, of course, in Korea practicing right now. We have the story of Teja coming back to StarCraft 2 after being in the army, and he played very, very well at Home Story Cup.
I'm so happy Teja's back, too. Teja's really good. Like, his Home Story Cup debut... That series we got to cast together, Teja versus Serral. Oh, so good, dude. So bloody good.
Yeah, you can find that on YouTube, right?
Yep. That's the only Home Story Cup VOD we have uploaded at the moment.
No, but it's one of the best. Like, if you didn't watch Serral versus Teja then from Home Story Cup, the last one, then do check it out, because that was a really cool series.
I thought it was a good cast. I really enjoyed doing that one with you, but what bums me out is the YouTube comments are less than positive about just the dumbest things.
It's YouTube comments. What can you do, right?
Yeah.
You don't read those.
All right, guys. Let's start wrapping things up. Snoot, it's kind of hard to find you since you don't play in things anymore. If people are looking for more Snoot, is there anything they can look forward to in the future? You got any prospects, any shoutouts, any DDR championships to win?
Oh man, I wish I could play more DDR, honestly. It's holiday season. Just taking things a little bit easy still. I'll be around. I'll be here tomorrow, of course, and then we'll just kind of take it from here, I guess. Maybe back playing a little bit here and there, but nothing too massive just yet. But I'll try to keep people updated on Twitter and whatnot. So we'll see. One thing at a time.
All right. I can appreciate taking it easy. I accidentally took it easy, pretty much with everyone being too busy to do stuff after BlizzCon. But I'm back in the grind now, too. And for me, I guess the one thing I would really shout out, guys, is obviously check out my co-caster. It's Snoot. We love him, whether he's playing the game or not. Great personality. And again, happy guy. So thanks again for joining me on the cast. I know you made a lot of fans very happy just by being here.
No, it's good to be visiting the StarCraft space a bit again.
And I guess for me, guys, the thing I would say first off is make sure you follow the tournament. I've really been advertising this events tab because I want to make sure you guys know when we're casting, what we're casting type thing. So as these players start getting to their round of 16 groups, we can start scheduling those matches, and you'll see the events tab updated more and more frequently as we go forward. Other than that, the other thing I would recommend is checking out our Discord server, especially if you subscribed. Our Discord server is open to all. You just type !Discord in the chat or go to discord.gg/BaseTradeTV. And if you are a subscriber, make sure to sync up your Discord because that's where we post replay packs. Like all 5 of these best of 3s that we cast today, I'm going to be posting those replays probably within an hour or two on both Discord for our subscribers, but also our alternative option, which is Patreon. If I'm being brutally honest, guys, our Patreon's not doing as well as I was hoping it would. Our goal is really simple. It's $200 a month just to cover 50% of the cost of running the YouTube channel at this point. And unfortunately, if we can't meet that goal by January or so, I'm probably just going to have to shut down our YouTube. It doesn't make any money. There's no drama. It's just not worth talking about. The point is, it's just a very costly endeavor for not much reward. So if you guys are somebody who watches VODs like this on YouTube, you watch the videos to the end, first off, shout out. Thank you. You're heroes. But with none of our videos being monetized, it's not about trying to make money. It's just trying to not bleed out money. So our Patreon goes a long way. It's entirely supported for the YouTube channel only. I'm not taking a cut of that. It goes directly towards our YouTube editor. So whether it's $1 just to absolve your ad block guilt, or maybe you want to get replays for cheaper than options on Twitch, or maybe you want to have your replays cast for higher rewards. Either way, please check out our Patreon over on patreon.com/BaseTradeTV. But that's it for the show. The sponsors, again, big love to both Ting and Hover for making Season 5 happen. Be sure to check out both Ting and Hover through their respective links. One is bttv.ting.com. The other is, of course, hover.com/bttv. Just the Clone says, I just got here. Is it over for today? Sadly, yes. I'm about to spoil it with a bracket page, so if you don't want to have this spoiled, you want to go back and watch it, avert your eyes. But here's the final standings of the day, guys. It was another very, very quick, decisive group. But I think this still builds up for a better round of 16. We're going to have a lot of really good matches, a lot of best of 5s coming out down that way, too. So, once more, thank you, everybody, for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the show. One last time, give it up for Snoot, guys. Thank you for joining me on the cast, man. But we're gonna go find somebody to. Well, I mean, we got so many viewers. We gotta go find somebody to host. So thanks again for watching. Thanks again for enjoying the show. Thanks again for hitting that follow button. If you haven't already, do it.
It's good to be here. Like this is shaping up to be a really good tournament so far. I just gotta point out the one thing that I've noticed from watching the brackets here is that we have some very strong finishers in each one of the groups. You look at NA Group 1, Special 2-0, 4-0 map score. Neep 2-0, 4-0 map score. The Korean Group 1, Solar 4-0 map score. And today, Bunny 4-0 map score. Europe Group, Rail 4-0.
That was really surprising. I'm still getting over that one, dude.
4-0. The only first place finisher that's dropped a few maps was Namshar in a little bit of a tricky group. But this is gonna get crazy, I think, as it keeps progressing. Like it's some really cool stuff. Some very strong players leading into the next group stage for sure.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. Because there's so many strong players, the skill gap's going to close. But Kohar66, he says, Snoot Chan, all caps. Thank you for the 17 months. Guys, like I said, we're going to end the stream here with some commercials. Enjoy this terrible music, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, 4 a.m. Pacific, bright and early. Me and Snoot will be back for more Korean StarCraft.